Welcome to Softcore History.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Softcore History. I am your host, Rob Fox, and we have a very special episode today. But before we get into that, I'll introduce my co-host, the dancing Dan Regester.
What's up?
You dancing?
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yeah, it has been unfortunate.
I'm really just tired.
Yeah, we're all tired. We didn't get to eat.
I'm delirious.
We didn't get our Chipotle today.
I haven't eaten at all today.
Yeah, I've only had one knockoff
It's like
breakfast
7 p.m.
sandwich.
I haven't eaten.
Yeah, it's not great. I'm gonna get home and yell at Courtney until she puts a frozen pizza in the oven.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's intermittent
I'll be like,
fasting.
you do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're doing.
At this point, it's just fasting.
You're fasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's IFing all the way. And that other voice you hear is Jake Goldman.
Hey, I'm not intermittent fasting.
No.
Nor any other day lately.
You're just having a ranch water.
Having a ranch water, dude.
Did you see the other day, actually, somebody tagged us. I guess it was going viral. Some guy, I think, had a heart attack because he dry scooped.
Yes, I did see that tag.
People are like, oh, Jake and Dan did this like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's
What?
like...
Well, hold on. We'll get into that. We have one more voice. Our returning guest. I think you're the most tenured guest on the show.
Third time.
Me?
Third time. Veronica Ruckh.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
It's going good.
I am really happy you're here today, Veronica, because I missed the last time you were here.
You did miss it. Where were you?
I was on my second-year anniversary in a cabin out in Nowheresville, Texas.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That makes sense for you guys.
It was just him and his
it makes
wife.
less sense for me.
It was Jake and his wife and his dog watching Jake and his wife bang.
You let the dog watch?
I was actually, unfortunately, I had gotten the second vaccine, and I was totally wiped out the entire week.
Poorly timed.
Yeah.
Poorly timed.
Well, we
Oh,
went to
that's-
Fredericksburg before that.
Yeah, I actually met up with Jake and his wife. Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
We got
And you watched.
I was
instead.
gonna say her name, but I don't know if I want to dox her. Yeah, I won't say her name.
I mean, said her name on the show.
Have we?
Katie.
It's
Yeah.
Katie.
Okay, I didn't.
My wife's
wanna
name
dox
is
God,
Katie.
how is anyone going to find a white woman named Katie?
Katie Goldman.
Yeah. No. I'm not too worried about my wife getting. You know what? I don't even want to say that because
Getting doxxed?
Yeah, I don't want to.
You never know.
Yeah. Who knows? But
Doxed for what?
who
Nothing.
knows? Yeah. No.
but
Just because me.
yeah.
Because I exist. That's the last thing I want. Is my existence to lead to someone's wife getting.
Listen, me pimping out my girlfriend's
She was on the
practice
show.
and business.
Yeah.
Actually got her some clientele.
Really?
A drinking bro went in. That's all I can say. I don't really want to. According to HIPAA,
So wait, what did he get fucking lasered?
we can't say because of HIPAA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Her-
you know,
so-
we
It'll
can say it off air though.
So
It
a
would get her
listener,
into deep trouble.
a
so.
listener went in and got
No,
his
no,
asshole lasered.
Let's just continue.
Okay.
you do not get her fired.
Okay. All right. Well, we know what the practice
well,
does.
I guess like if you need a building built,
Yeah.
my wife, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
My wife's an architect, so
That's fair.
yeah.
That's such a cool job. You guys are like the reverse rom-com, right? Like you're in media
I'm-
and she's an architect. It's reverse. Like
It
those
kind
are
of
the
is.
roles.
It kind of is. Like she's Ted Mosby and I'm
Yes.
Yeah.
whatever chick Ted Mosby's banging.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
the creative. Yeah, totally. I mean, I feel like every rom-com is like she works at a magazine and he's an architect.
Yeah.
It is funny.
He does math. She does art.
Ooh.
Will they fuck?
It's crazy.
They
I
will.
do.
Yeah, they will.
Always do.
They will. When there's about 20 minutes left in the movie, they will.
It's funny. I do run in like really just flustered into my office every day with like 4 Starbucks. I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm late.
Papers dropping out of the other arm.
Just dropping stuff out of my portfolio. God.
You're goofy. You eat sandwiches.
Yeah.
No.
You're just, you love pizza.
Oh man, it's like my personality.
Yes.
Yeah, that and I can play Xbox.
Whoa, and
Yeah.
drink beer, I bet.
I drink beer.
Yeah.
Wow.
IPAs.
I've had a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, you're the perfect woman.
I mean, I can also sip scotch if you let me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You smoke
Hold
a
on.
cigar from here and there? Like, come on, man.
You guys don't know this, but we're going to make love to Jake when this episode's over.
I'm
Yeah.
turning everyone on.
Yeah.
Just wait. I
You
got.
sure are.
I'm a manic pixie dream boy. I think is what they call me.
Yes.
You sure are.
Yes.
I love it.
But yeah, so speaking of me banging Jake, we we have Veronica here today because it's Pride Month and
Happy
we want to
Pride,
do a,
baby.
Yeah, we want
It
to
is
do
Pride.
a little gay history
Some
today.
gay stuff.
Some
We're
gay
gonna do
stuff.
some gay stuff.
But
Softcore
here's the
gay
thing,
history.
actually, we're all so straight that we wanted to do
history.
chick on chick.
You're so straight.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like so straight that I
Shut
want to
up.
talk
I mean,
about like
yeah.
girl on girl.
There's a lot of like obviously throughout
None of you are so straight.
throughout
Like,
I think
I've
that's
actually,
well done.
yeah.
I've actually argued before that all guys should be bisexual just to drive down the price of pussy.
okay.
you're definitely
you
how's
hate
that
that
make you
word.
feel that?
Yeah, Veronica just
Okay.
shuddered. Yeah.
It's pure market economics that all men should be bisexual.
All men are bisexual.
Yeah.
Everyone's bisexual.
I mean,
No, I mean,
literally
like,
throughout
actively.
history, we have
Do
so
it.
many options that we could have went with man on man, especially in a domination like type of Roman or Greek way.
Right.
That no, we couldn't do it. There's
you
too
know
many
what?
options.
My favorite thing, my favorite gay joke is like liking. If you're a man, liking women is gay. Like, oh, what do you? She's so soft and she smells like flowers.
Do
like,
you know
that's
that?
gay.
Do you know that that's the best 30 Rock joke of all time?
Is it
Yeah, I
from
was
30
just-
Rock?
So there's a 30
Yeah.
Rock quote that Devin Banks, it's
Will Arnett.
Yeah.
He's gay in that show, and he's talking to Jack Donaghy, Alec Baldwin's character.
Right.
And Jack like offhandedly mentions he's gay, and he was like, "Me, gay? You're the one who has sex with women. What? Like, there's nothing gayer than that. You win sex with a man. That's as straight as it gets."
That is where I heard it first. It's just like been this joke
Yeah.
that's in my mind, and it's so funny
Yeah.
to
Well,
me.
I mean, yeah, the bodybuilding community too. It's like guys don't live for other
Super
girls.
gay.
Guys
Right.
don't live for
Super
other
gay.
girls.
I guess Veronica says I'm bi, but as a actively cisgendered man, yeah, the bodybuilding forum is just dudes
Yeah.
complimenting each other's pecs.
Yeah, and the bigger you get, the more body dysmorphia you have, and
Yeah, and
the
then-
more insecure you get around other men.
But actually, here's the funny converse of that. The bigger you get, you actually get more gravity for smaller dudes to come and ask you what you do. You're like a big muscle planet,
Yeah.
and
Well,
smaller
yeah.
muscle planets come towards you.
You become a neutron star.
Yeah.
You collapse
Anyway.
inside.
It should be noted, by the
yourself.
way, I was never like this. Instead of having sex with a pillow, like when I was a teenager, I would, in my bed, I would fuck a piece of lumber.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Or a rock.
It is confusing. They call it wood.
No,
Morning
I
wood.
did theater. I'm the fucking...
Yeah. Point being,
You're the most-
no one here is so straight.
Right.
Like
That was the joke. Right?
I guess I always had a really good question. I'm in the same camp as Veronica where like I ask dudes, it's like, okay, so how many male friends do you have that you would deem like they're ugly? You have ugly male friends.
Right.
You don't have anyone that you would deem ugly. It's subconsciously ranking them at
one or
least.
two, but
yeah. Like it's not few and far between. You're putting yourself in an attractiveness category with other people that you find similar. Like, so you have some sort of objectiveness to what you think attractiveness is between male and female.
I'll say it right now, Brad Pitt and Meet Joe Black is goddamn outrageous. More attractive
I don't
than
think
most women I see.
I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
Yeah.
Plus,
Fucking
he's
crazy.
deaf. I mean, whew,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
So
but how
hot.
attractive do you have to be in order to date somebody who is deaf? Like,
Who's deaf?
or
Deaf.
how
He's
deaf.
not
He is
deaf.
deaf.
He's deaf.
I said deaf.
Deaf.
he's deaf.
Deaf or
Deaf.
deaf?
The Grim
Deaf.
Reaper. He's the
He's
Grim Reaper.
How attractive do you have to
Dan is like, I've been corrected on this one before. I've got
Yeah.
it right. I know I'm
I
doing
nailed
this
it.
right.
Nailed deaf.
Right.
But no, like, all right, if a girl is deaf, how attractive does she have to be in order for you to date her?
Dan, don't do
Do I
that.
die if I hook up with her?
Well, no, hooking up doesn't count. Like, obviously, you're gonna.
Did you say death or deaf?
Yeah, which one are you talking about? The Grim Reaper or not?
Sure,
hearing?
both. Yeah. No, actually, we'll go with death. Well,
Grim,
We'll go with
the
which
Grim
one?
Reaper is going to
You
have
say
to
them
be.
too similarly.
The Grim
Yeah,
Reaper
sure.
is going to have to look like Brad Pitt.
It's
in
got to be
Meet Joe Black.
It's got to be
to
worth
make it
dying
happen.
for.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Like,
So
My
like
wife.
me, probably.
Yes.
Probably the Grim Reaper
Yeah.
has to be me.
But we're not talking about dude on dude today because one thing I noticed while researching this, and I already knew this obviously because I'm super smart, was that like all the kind of gay history, the men, this is not a pun, suck it up. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like all the male attention, it all goes to male attention.
Yeah.
And
It's so different from today.
right.
Come on.
That is still a common complaint amongst. I actually think
You say girls and gays. If you're a gay girl, you're not included somehow. Like that. It's
wait,
you
what
guys.
do you mean?
You guys.
you see these people saying like, all right, ladies and gays. That means straight women and gay men. If
Right.
you're a lesbian who is both girl and gay, like you don't count.
Right.
And like you're not greeted.
You're in the back
that.
of the line.
But you are not. So you're engaged to a woman who is a lesbian.
Who is a lesbian?
But you do not identify as lesbian.
I am not a lesbian. No, I dated many boys. All the boys.
Well, but so there's a difference though between like a guy who's like, yeah, I date chicks, but I'm actually gay.
Sure. Yes, I am not the like a closeted, repressed lesbian.
Right.
That is not me. I was pretty old when I met Taylor, my fiance, and I don't know. I was always like a little curious, I guess.
Because before that, you were a noted big dick enthusiast. Yes. Like size mattered.
Size still matters, I'll say.
Yeah, but you can get it on Amazon now.
I can get it on Amazon. It's always the right size.
It's not attached to bad decisions.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, I always dated boys, always into big dick. That was me. But I was like curious, right? Because I was like, I'm so sexual. I'm adventurous. I want to do this one time. Went on a date, first date with my now fiance, and I was like, it's just gonna be the one date. I'm just gonna hook up one time, and then like, oops, I fell in love. But I still like boys. My fiance, you guys all know her. She is not girl like I am girl.
She is a captain in the U.S. Marine Corps.
Yes, she's captain of the Marine Corps. She looks like a captain of the Marine Corps.
You described her as Ruby Rose-esque to me the first time you went on a date with her.
Yeah, she's a bit Ruby
Interesting.
Rosy. That's like maybe a dated reference in 2021, but she's like,
I could see that though.
she's a stud, you know?
Yeah.
Like she's
a bit of a bro.
definitely
I believe
a bro.
gun owner as well.
Gun owner.
And owns a big old Jeep.
Big old Jeep.
Like a big old hard ass Jeep. Like this thing will crush a Prius.
But she's not. She's hot. Also, I feel like we're describing this, and it's maybe because people have stereotypes. She's hot.
I thought Marine Corps captain encompassed that.
Put that in. Yeah.
Looks good in a uniform.
Yeah. She's the cutie.
I would love to just go down a list of all these things in like reverse of how we talked about them, just to see if like it just pissed some people off. Or it's like Marine Corps, like Jeep, fucking builds shit, and then it's like most American person you can think of, also lesbian.
Also lesbian.
Yeah, that would just make Mitch McConnell like, oh God.
Right, because they have to have a hard on until they're like, what do I do with this hard on now?
Right.
I'm anti-Jeep. I'll say it.
Anti-Jeep?
Yeah, they have their own little wave. I'm not
the
cool
Jeep
with
wave.
that.
When I drive the Jeep, I miss it.
That
every
is
time.
pretty garbage.
That's a marketing
I won't
gimmick.
lie. I'll never buy a Jeep.
Okay, let me say something.
They flip too easy.
When you see somebody driving your own car, though, don't you kind of notice it?
No, I don't wave to
a lot of
these.
F-150s
You don't
in Texas.
wave.
To
You don't wave.
Nissan Altima owners? No, I don't.
Yeah, the Ford Edge. Ford Edge has a thriving community of soccer moms I wave to every day.
Okay, what about if you see like a Missouri license plate? You're like, hey, it's us.
No.
I don't
No?
do
Well,
that
first time I
anymore.
have a Texas license plate, so they just think I'm a psycho.
Yeah, I do not wave to
good
Jersey
point.
plates, but I notice.
I
Jersey
do notice
plates.
Missouri plates for sure.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, and my
It's
wife is always
us.
like, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, babe, it's Missouri. And she's like,
oh.
and honestly, half the time it's probably a rental car.
Maybe so.
I will say
Yeah.
Gator fans scream at each other out the windows if they see each other in shirts. Though.
Do you?
Oh, I do. Every time. Like, go Gators, baby!
Oh, if I see a Mizzou shirt, for sure. Well, one of the baristas downstairs at the cafe was wearing a Mizzou shirt one day, and I was like, what the fuck? And I'd been like, I know this guy because I've been going there for so long.
Yeah.
And I was like, did you go there? And he was like, I didn't go there, but I'm from Columbia. And I was like, oh shit,
that's
random
super
as fuck.
rare.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah.
I don't know. Isn't this like a place you come if you're from Missouri?
It's from the
There's a
Midwest.
lot.
This is a
Yeah,
big Midwestern.
like I feel like everybody from the Midwest.
I mean,
It's
Texas
like
or Chicago.
yeah,
at our old company,
Right.
there were like several Mizzou
several.
people.
Yeah.
Many.
There are a lot of Jersey. I've met a lot of Jersey here in Austin. Actually,
That's more random to me.
It is more random, but I think Jersey just like
I feel like you guys
goes
should be in
places.
New York or Miami.
And we are.
Yeah.
Oh, they there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are. But I've met I have plenty of friends here from Jersey, but I find them, I guess. I like that energy.
It's true.
Jersey energy.
We like that Jersey energy.
See, I know nobody from the Northeast here.
Me?
Well, yeah, besides us.
I know a lot.
I'm just not getting
Find
out.
you
I know.
find you some Northeast
I just
people.
know you two and the West Virginia guys, and that's it.
Oh yeah.
Which I say West Virginia. West Virginia's not Northeast. They went to.
They went
They
right.
went to the school.
Yeah.
That's the only two I can. That's the only four I can think of.
It's a really tough.
Well,
I
admission
forget. Do you
process.
stand Wawa? Are you?
I stand Wawa.
Okay.
Do you not?
Well, I'm from the town where like the first Wawa is.
Oh, no big deal. So,
Yeah, no big
yeah.
deal. But it's okay.
It's no state of Florida. Florida is now the Wawa state.
Right. And
It's
it has
weird,
Wawa
right?
and Publix.
Yeah.
It has the
What?
better Wawas too, because in Pennsylvania, at least as long as I lived there, you could not buy beer in a Wawa. You had to go to the beer
Oh,
Yeah,
distributor.
Pennsylvania
yeah.
has insane laws.
Or so like in Florida, it's your one-stop shop. You get your sandwich. You
Get
get
your
your
beer.
They had free ATMs, so you
Yeah.
get money for
Oh,
the bars.
man, I love Wawa.
Yeah, you get
I
your
just
ice
wanna
and your
go there
food
right
and your,
now.
It's all fine.
Pre-game beer.
It's all.
I liked
It's
Wawa.
all fine, yeah. So it's just okay.
That's how Publix is too.
Yeah.
I liked Wawa better than Publix. I'm just gonna say it.
Well,
Sandwich-wise.
that's a completely different comparison. That's like saying,
Sandwich-wise.
That's insane.
I like Flying J truck stop versus Lowe's. Like, yeah, sure.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
let's get into the topic. We've had some good conversation here. Let's get into what we're talking about. So in
I don't like you pushing your agenda.
honor,
on us
yeah,
right
I
now.
am pushing
gay
an agenda here.
agenda.
I am in honor of Pride Month and Veronica's on. I wanted to do, even though you're not specifically identified as a lesbian, I feel like we talked about lesbian history kind of gets the back
I'm in with
seat.
some lesbians. Yes.
The back seat
Sure.
to gay history for sure.
Sure.
It's like, oh man, Greeks banged all the time, like
Right.
Greek guys. But you know, there is some interesting things about women being with women
Okay.
through history.
I'd love to learn more.
Some hilarious, some. I didn't do much of the. I'll say this up front. I didn't do much of the like funny. Some of the more fucked up trial stuff because it's like,
Okay.
why traffic in that really?
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
let's not
Okay.
let's not profit from people's misery.
Sure.
As much as we can. There's a little bit in here, but to the most part, I just wanted to be more what people thought of it at the time.
Sure.
So
Okay.
that's kind of like the rundown
Okay.
of it. So we start with ancient Egypt
Okay.
as everything because ancient Egypt is essentially the oldest civilization in history. People actually think now that ancient Egypt is predates Sumer, the Sumerians. It might have started during the Stone Age.
Oh.
Yeah, they weren't
Wow.
writing then, but it was like civilization. It was probably the first civilization essentially. So historians don't actually know much about Egyptian homosexuality. Though it should be noted, or ancient Egyptian homosexuality, though it should be noted that ancient Egypt is kind of a nonsense term. It's a little bit catch-all.
Okay.
Like ancient Egypt, that term spans 3,000 years.
Yeah.
gonna
Which
say,
would span
yeah.
now to 1,000 BC.
Right.
So a bit of a long time.
Long
a lot
time.
can happen in
Yeah.
3,000
So,
years.
you know,
Sure.
and, like what was chill in the old kingdom might have been not so good in
Okay.
the new kingdom or vice versa, whatever. But there is one passage written in the dream book of the Carlberg Papyrus, which is like a medical book, essentially.
Okay.
If a woman dreams that a woman has intercourse with her, she will come to a bad end. Now, I don't know if that means that lesbianism is bad or if it's like, I actually like to take that as it's a bad sign that the flooding will be terrible in the spring. Just
Okay.
extra wetness,
Oh.
essentially.
Okay.
That a
See, I thought you were going period
shot.
joke, but
No, I'm not going.
Okay.
Period joke. What is this, the amateur hour? We're just talking about wetness.
Yeah.
I'm really edgy and on the
That's
coast.
wet is way more highbrow than period.
yeah,
Everyone
of
knows
course,
that.
of course.
Yeah, but no, that is legitimately about all there exists of ancient Egyptian
oh my
writing.
God.
But there is a pretty interesting take on ancient Egypt and lesbians from
Jews?
Jewish writers.
I like how you. I noticed it got silent. I wasn't looking at you, and then I just see your beady little Irish eyes staring at me with a big old shit-eating grin.
We've just gotten way more into ethnically hating each other here.
Sure.
We're the two
Okay.
Irish guys and the one Jewish guy.
Soon enough, we're
What
gonna.
he
have-
calls it? Potato monkeys, like 2
Yeah.
months
Oh,
ago.
he-
Potato chucking McMonkeys.
McMonkeys,
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's pretty.
It's fine. We're
Oh, who do I
offensive.
claim? I could
You're
go
Italian.
either way, Italian, or, like Irish or
Well, you're-
Jew.
you're
like,
off-white.
I could ally with either of you.
Italian.
Like-
I think
like
you
you
gotta
no,
go
I'm
Italian.
Italian. I
Oh,
know.
who do you side with?
Who do I side with?
Oh, yeah.
You-
I could
you
see.
side
You would
with
probably
Catholics.
side with
The
them.
Catholics or the big nose? I just don't
Oh,
know.
wow, it's-
You know?
Yeah, it's tough either way.
It's
That is
tough.
tough. To be fair, I would just call you a spaghetti chucking Mussolini of sorts. So
Who, me?
yeah, that's a little monkey though.
Nah.
I could go
Fazul.
So there is one writer who has some interesting things to say about woman-on-woman love in Egypt. It's a medieval, though. This is thick. It's a medieval a Sephardic Jewish philosopher by the name of Maimonides.
Oh, man. You're getting into medieval Sephardic Jewish philosophy?
Yeah, so Sephardic Jewish, people don't know.
Take this.
He's from Spain, essentially.
Yeah. It's the very Mediterranean-looking Jews. The Sephardis.
He's one of the most prolific and influential Torah scholars of the Middle Ages. He was actually also at one point, he was also an astronomer and a physician, because if you did kind of one science back then, you did all of it, pretty much. He was actually Saladin's physician for a while. He was a doctor as well. Maimonides, whatever you want to call it, he referred to lesbianism as the acts of Egypt, right? Because Jews don't like Egypt.
Okay.
So they have to portray it as sinful.
It was a slur.
Yeah. They have to portray Egyptians as kind of godless, sinful, out of favor of Yahweh or God or whatever you want to call it. But really, like he was really actually more interested in portraying ancient Egyptian women as sluts, because he said they also practiced polyandry, which means
multiple husbands.
Husbands. So essentially, it was like Egyptian women just like couldn't get enough.
Men, women.
And there is no better way to keep some sluts down,
right,
than calling them sluts.
I gotta say though, it feels like it backfires currently. Like I'm thinking the enslavers were cooler than the than the slaves in ancient Egypt. Like everyone's just getting down all the time.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like if you go into like medieval philosophy from rabbinical,
And I do all the time.
yeah,
Right,
no,
as we all do.
who doesn't? You know, we got to follow the canonical philosophy of different scholars of the Torah, but there's some pretty insane shit if you go far back enough too. Like, I mean, you're talking about like the lesser and greater keys of Solomon at that point and stuff like that.
What's funny about this guy is he's not even writing the Torah. He's like 4,000 years removed from the writing of the Torah, drawing conclusions.
No, that's what
from
I'm.
the Torah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
If you go, I mean, the whole thought process of I'm not gonna try and like, oh, he was just like, obviously he's trying to control and distort image.
Right.
There. But if you go through like the rabbinical teachings from the medieval period, there's a lot of just insane shit. Like, I mean, you can get into magic spells. It really depends on who you're studying.
Yeah.
Too.
I feel like the medieval period is where a lot of both current Jewish practice and also current Jewish hatred comes from.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's really all born from like that era.
How you want to interpret it? Sure.
Yeah. Well, like people from the inside that, and then from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, that's why like the most common movement is probably the Reformed movement of Judaism, because it's like, most of this shit sucks.
Yeah,
like
it got really weird.
Maybe
then.
we'll just not do the pork thing. You know.
What's funny to me, by the way, about this, what made me laugh about that specific thing, always like Egypt is chicks hook up with chicks.
Yeah,
they're selling it.
Chicks have multiple husbands, whatever. What's the funniest about him doing that was they had already made another civilization or two civilizations. They already put man-on-man sex on them, so it'd be bad writing to do it twice.
Oh, I see.
Right? So Sodom and...
these people are all the men are fucking, and here all the women are fucking.
Yeah. So in Sodom and Gomorrah, and what was it? I got to look at a kingdom called Amalek, which is kind of in the Levant as well, I believe, or nearby, in the Middle East for sure. They were all gay, like man on man gay, homosexual. And then Egypt, they were like, oh, fuck. We need something to say about Egypt.
What can we say about them?
Oh, they're all sluts.
You know what? They had like a lot of, or maybe there was just one like major queen, right? Cleopatra. Is she the only one?
Cleopatra doesn't count. Nefertiti would be the actual like legit Egyptian queen. Cleopatra was during the Roman era, essentially.
Oh, so she was way later.
She was actually not even Egyptian.
What?
Yeah, by that point, the Greeks had run Egypt for years. After Alexander the Great conquered it, she was part of the Ptolemaic dynasty.
Okay, so then...
So whenever, by the way, you see anyone being like, I can't believe they're having like X... I think there was a thing about Gal Gadot playing...
Yeah.
Oh, it makes
Cleopatra.
perfect sense.
Right.
And it's like, what? She's not African? And it's like, yeah, no, there was Cleopatra.
Wow.
They had conquered Egypt by then.
Okay, but people don't know that.
I actually saw quite a bit of Black Twitter being like, "You guys are idiots."
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were like, "Come on,
I don't think
I
not
didn't know
knowing
that.
learn your history."
not knowing it shouldn't be an excuse to be upset about. That's the reason not to be upset. I feel
Well,
like.
Right.
To me, what would be problematic is if the writers of the film also don't know that.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
and just cast a white lady anyway.
Yes. And I don't know what the facts are. And I haven't heard anybody come out and be like,
So-
well, actually, it's because we wanted
Yes.
to represent the truth and
So
she was Greek.
you definitely couldn't retcon Elizabeth Taylor because they probably would have cast Elizabeth Taylor anyway
Why don't they
as
just-
Cleopatra,
Why don't
whether
they
or
just
not.
cast Matt Damon?
For everything.
As
Yeah.
Cleopatra?
Yeah. He was defending the Great Wall.
Yeah.
As a European, they didn't cast him as a Chinese guy. He was like a
Well, they
European
cast
explorer.
Tom
What
Cruise.
is
They
Gal
also defend
Gadot's-
against aliens.
She's
right?
Israeli.
Or
She's
dragons.
Okay.
But she's Israeli, but she's European descent.
Okay.
Like she's not like her. She can't trace. I don't think she can trace Israeli.
Why are you
back.
looking at me like I know what Gal Gadot is?
I'm not looking. You're talking to you.
Actually, I bet that is.
I don't think you could trace Israeli Gal Gadot back like.
Well, she was in the.
Her name is Gal, though, and actually, now that you're saying this, I did know a girl named Gal in high school who was Israeli, so it might be a pretty
Also, is
like.
it not Godot?
Well, that's more linguistic.
Didn't she like
though,
correct
than-
somebody and
I
say
don't
it
know.
was not Godot?
What is it?
Get it?
I think it's like a hard T.
We just did it French.
Yeah.
Gadot.
Gadot.
I think
Gadot.
it did like because I remember correcting somebody and then they showed me a video and I think she corrected somebody on a late night show. And said
Actually,
Gadot.
Gadot is more of the
Gadot.
area.
Yeah.
Of that region.
There's
for
a
sure.
lot of celebrities like that.
Yeah.
Chrissy Teigen is like, it's really Teigen, actually. And Ariana Grande is definitely correct, but she pronounces it Grandy.
And people always say Regester, and I'm like, yeah, that's.
yes,
that
you
works.
are also part
We're
of
on
the
the same level.
Yes.
Now that we're all
You're
talking
among
about
the
this,
likes.
I want to. I just like to say I've never had my name mispronounced.
Folks.
Yeah.
folks.
Rob
Yeah.
Folks.
Mine's Goldman.
Goldman. Yeah. We both have very simple names.
Yeah. It's
Mine
pretty
is
easy.
mispronounced a lot.
I know.
You get
'cause that
Ruke a
H
lot?
at the
That
end.
H confuses people, but
Yeah.
like it doesn't like
Say it phonetically.
Ruck.
Yeah,
You just-
that's how it's said.
Right.
It's not the best
Right.
choice
It's
is
a-
always
It's
to go
just someone
phonetic.
slapped
Just-
an H on.
Well,
Yeah.
I think really it was, or the thought is that it was, because my last name is German, and I feel like people forget this because I'm like culturally very Italian and like 75% Italian. Anyway,
Knock if you rock.
but Ruck is German, and I think the belief is that it like was Ruckheimer, and then they like cut it off. They did it wrong.
Yes.
They like didn't know.
So my last name is actually the same. My family anglicized, which your family probably did too, anglicized their names, and most families did that right around World War I, actually. German names specifically.
Yeah.
And so mine was Fox, but just in German, which is Fuchs.
Yeah.
Fucks.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
funny. That happened to my family too. We were the Christ Slayers before we came over. And they made it Goldman. It's so bullshit. Like, that would have been such a cooler name.
Feels like a lateral move.
Yeah, I know. Well, nowadays with connotation, but yeah.
Yeah, very common. But so in ancient Egypt, so that was what the Talmudic slayers had. Scholars had to say. Still, though, women during the New Kingdom in Egypt actually enjoyed a pretty relaxed and intimate atmosphere, like including with female slaves who were scantily clad or naked a lot
Sure.
of the time. Take that as you will. It was
hot.
thousands of years ago. Yeah,
Right.
and also very warm.
I do picture them though, like Game of Thrones, like naked slave girls.
It's not that off, I think.
I think it's not. I think it's like hot. I think they probably wore these like
Yeah.
flowy linen fabric.
It makes sense.
I don't
It's
know.
just
In my
dorm.
Latin book, there was in high school, like my like Latin textbook. I think they had the like slave girls dressed as that. What is it? Puella? Is that slave
Probably.
girl? Do you guys know? Or Ancula? I don't remember.
I
Hey,
mean,
Coop, can I get some ranch waters, by the way? That's part of our show now. We just ask Coop for ranch waters.
Well,
Well,
I'll
the
take a
thing is,
claw.
Rob used to actually just go up
Go
and get drinks or
middle of the show.
take a piss mid-show because he couldn't hold it because, he's just
He's a baby.
constantly crushing drinks.
He's pregnant.
throughout the
Okay,
show.
Leave
I'm
him
pregnant.
alone.
We are pregnant.
It
Yeah.
does kind of give the audience, though, a brief break of him burping into the mic, though.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah, that's the only thing that gets in there. It's like talk, burp. No, just
Only
kidding.
thing he actually talks into the mic is when he
belches.
unleashes. Yeah.
Dan's been holding
man,
that in
I'm
all
so
episode.
careful. If I have to swallow, I'm like, you're not watching me. The people who are listening, I moved
Yeah.
away from the mic.
We love visual humor on the podcast.
Sorry.
Fair enough.
Not good radio.
So we moved from ancient Egypt to ancient Greece, where getting gay was for dudes only.
Dudes only.
Yeah, dudes only, really. In classical Athens, the idea of homosexual women is briefly mentioned in a speech or in the speech of Aristophanes, which is part of like Plato's Symposium, which I don't know what the fuck that is really, but why not? Thank you, sir. Later references to female homosexuality in Greek literature include an epigram by Asclepiadus, which describes two women who reject Aphrodite's rules, but also reject Aphrodite's rules, but instead get into other things which are not seemly.
Okay.
So again,
So it is like still bad news. Like you're still.
it's not ideal.
Okay.
And we'll kind of get into why in a bit. I kind of just like to go through it. Meanwhile, there was another
Okay.
work. There's another guy or the same guy, I'm sorry. The same guy, Astrophin, who was talking about, yeah, it's not seemly or whatever. Meanwhile, like women getting together, not okay. But he was like, in that same writing, was like, but yeah, I do hook up with dudes though, and it's really interesting. We should explore that in depth.
Oh, so he admits like, I'm kind of a hypocrite.
Well, no, he doesn't admit he's a hypocrite.
Oh, okay.
He's just like,
Well,
but
it's the key
I
to
fuck
being a
guys
hypocrite,
though. Like,
is
so
to never admit that you are the hypocrite.
yeah.
Okay.
So men in Greece weren't really cool with women getting down.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, here's the thing, right? What I'm hearing you say right now is just like women being sexual is an issue at all. And especially the idea that it would like render a man useless is like extra problematic. Like, which is still the
Wow,
issue
we don't say the P
today.
word on this podcast, okay?
Is it not problematic?
That's very.
It's yeah.
It's like kind of
Well,
problematic.
all I'm
Oh my
hearing
God,
is
are
that
we
we get
useless?
to do whoever we want. And women,
men?
yeah, that sounds like it's
We
just
figured it
a
out
through
earlier.
line. Yeah,
Yeah.
we get to screw whoever we want.
Yeah. We'll
And-
toss it wherever.
And we'll
And-
just throw this.
And then we'll throw
negative
rules on anyone
stigma
else that
you.
doesn't have a
I think,
penis.
like, I mean, like, it is still the case where,
is,
like,
yeah.
men are threatened by, because, right, a lot of guys can't bring a girl to the finish line, a lot. And then maybe once they get to know her, whatever, but, like, women care. Like,
Ladies can be
it's
freaks
less of an
too.
issue. And this, like, threat of, like, oh, it's not that they were never sexual or like never had desire when they were with me. I just wasn't good at it. Like,
Right.
that is so threatening to the ego. And like from the beginning of time, from what I'm hearing, is
Literally,
Yeah,
yes.
of
course.
like
Dude,
It's
that's
like-
what, pretty much.
I also think that part of that though that like men don't give enough credit to is that like there's even if you're fucking awesome, there's always going to be women that you can't get to
Well,
the
Not
finish
just
line.
with your dick.
Or anything. There,
Oh, sure.
there are times where I've hooked up with girls where it has been
congrats,
like
dude.
everyone's dude, I've fucked at least 3 times.
At least once. We
Yeah.
know that
You
for
have
a
a
fact.
receipt.
Definitely, I do have a receipt. What about you, virgins?
I have no receipt.
None of us do.
$750.
I'll have a
but
receipt without the transaction. Actually.
Yeah, really. Yeah, you're getting charged without a transaction.
Yes.
That's cool. My
But
abortion joke just
there's
got.
been women where it's been like no problem, where it's been like, oh my God, we're so simpatico, and it's like happening or whatever. And there's also
That was
been
good.
women where it's like, I don't know what I could possibly do.
So I don't think this is necessarily like, oh, she just can't. It's like, oh, we just can't.
Yes, that's
You
what I mean.
know,
That's what I
like,
mean by that.
And I feel like there's a lot of like emotional stuff going on there, or like people are drunk or like not comfortable yet. And like it is, I think, I can't say for all women, but like for me, it's a lot harder for me, I think, than a lot of other women is. And like, I also like, it's not really as much always about skill. It's about the like give a shit. Like,
Right.
do you care? And like, are you not asking this question? Like, I hate when a dude is like, well, did you finish? Or like, no, probably not. Were you in the room? Were you in the room? Did I finish? No.
I mean,
like,
Yeah.
Just give him his medal.
no, I never faked it. I never told a guy yes if it was no, because
And-
I'm like, that's rewarding bad behavior.
Even if he did, make him earn it like further on. Be like, no, you gotta go harder.
I've never faked it ever.
Well,
Like-
statistically
waste of time.
speaking,
It is a waste of time. And for what?
No one's
not for
no,
me.
I'm
no
not
one's
saying
getting
take it.
anything
I'm
from
saying
it.
if he
Yeah.
actually does make you get off, or if she makes you get off, don't reward her by saying she did or he did.
But it's not a. I mean, well.
Well, that's
okay.
not that's
Just
not
lie.
very sharing
I
either.
definitely can't
That's the
fake
other end of
not
that
doing
pendulum.
it.
Right? No.
Yeah.
You want to make them always constantly question themselves.
That's
I feel,
the basis
Dan,
of a strong
the logic
relationship.
is
You wanna
like, I
manipulate
don't think
them,
I could
yeah.
like. It's easy to like pretend you did if you didn't, which I have never done. But I think it's hard to pretend you didn't if you did.
It's really hard as a
You
man.
could just be like, no, I was close.
It's very hard as a man.
yeah, it's
I was
really
close.
tough unless you're staying.
But like
I've actually faked it before.
Yeah.
you
Oh,
have.
I mean, you
I
can
have.
with a condom. You can with a condom.
yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you run away and throw it out real quick.
Oh, I
That's
just.
fine. I don't like
it's
to
not
be
like
there
they-
during the
they
throw out
inspect it,
process.
yeah.
Yeah.
Normally,
They're
yeah,
like
no.
they're watching.
Prove it.
No,
Let's see it.
Even more so, it's
I don't
definitely a
know,
red
that
flag if they're
doesn't-
like, "Let me see the cum."
I just had
Ew.
rubber
That
cement.
doesn't look as messy as it should.
I always just keep rubber cement in my hands at all times, and I just throw it.
Ew.
Dan's just got
Dan.
got a little bottle of
What?
white out. He's shaking up in the back, just boop.
I think that is the thing I miss the least.
Cum?
Honestly. Ugh. What? Yeah.
Semen.
It's not.
It seems like the worst part.
It's the worst part.
Some people like it.
Yeah,
It's, good
I
for your
get
skin,
that.
allegedly.
That's fine.
Not most people don't.
Like
though.
I'm sure there's a lot of
Yeah.
people I feel like who are like, oh, dicks or asshole. It's the jizz.
Well, there's a fitness influencer that actually drinks semen in her protein shake every morning.
Oh, that's.
that seems.
She's trying too hard.
Yeah,
Supposedly
just-
good for
Pick
your
me.
you're laughing
complexion.
now, but when
Yeah.
she lives forever,
It's fine. Keep it. I don't need to live forever.
If you could live forever by drinking cum, would you?
yes.
Yeah, you just mix it in with your
Well,
smoothie
live until
and you
I
don't even
decide
taste
to
it.
die. Essentially, is what it is.
That's actually.
you buy your own supply?
I think I think we don't need to buy our own supply.
Yeah, you don't, even if you had to get it from someone else, be like, yeah,
Plus-
Do
it's
it.
I feel
Oh
like
wait, I'm sorry. You buy your own supply, you mean like?
Do you drink your own cum? Yes,
Yeah, right,
that is
right,
what
right,
I
right.
mean.
Okay, yeah, I got it backwards.
Every dude, whether they want to admit it or not, when they were like 15, 16, when they were hitting
Are
puberty.
you going
and
to
they-
tell me you've drank your own cum?
No, but you
try to blow themselves.
you wouldn't try to blow yourselves, but you jerk off and you get like a little extra on your hand. There's some point in your life
You've
where,
like- you
where you
did.
just kind of go like the quick lick.
You did?
The quick lick.
Ew.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone's done it.
Ew, really?
You guys are freaks.
Really? Is
Yeah.
this a thing?
Everyone's tried like when you're
Jacked
when
off
you're a
thousands
kid.
of times.
Yeah,
How was it?
you had to know. And
Not enough to make a difference,
Yeah.
but enough to know I didn't want a full load in my mouth.
Honestly, maybe every guy should do it for like sympathy purposes, empathy.
What
like,
if the guy does?
someone actually suggested there's like a writer who wrote a thing, and it's like every guy should get fucked in the ass.
and
False.
so it was.
Yeah, there was like it was like a couple of years ago. I remember on Twitter blowing up about it. People were just like, "No,
Maybe. What if the guy doesn't want to?
too bad."
Yeah. Okay. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
We're
yeah,
going
yeah.
down a different narrative here.
Yeah,
Man.
Yeah.
I give it up for gay guys, I guess. That is a.
it's a lot of work.
I would not.
Some people
That's
like
not
it.
for me.
Yeah, they're into it. It's fine.
Some people do like
People
it.
like
it's not
stuff.
for me. People
People
like
like
all
stuff.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah. That's
They
the.
like all kinds of stuff.
Speaking of which, despite the fact
Oh.
that the Greeks didn't
Back
talk,
to our regularly
yeah,
scheduled
didn't
program.
talk about lesbian sex too much. Women using dildos pretty common
I know a
in
little
Greek
bit about this.
vase paintings.
Wait.
Here I do have a thing for the class.
Oh wow!
Yeah, she's got
okay,
it.
is that going to be up on our on your
She
Instagram?
Tooching.
Yeah, she's
Or
it's a
Buchin?
big
Buchin or
that's a big
Toochin?
boy too.
Dude, I know a little bit about this. I don't know if you're going to cover it, but I need to share this.
that thing actually
this
doubles
wisdom.
as like
But
a warning horn
by
too
all
when
means,
they're
yeah.
being
They're
attacked by another tribe.
original vibrators. They like filled some kind of something with bees to like make it vibrate, and like that was like the
That's
original
sick.
vibrator.
Nice.
So there's just like a insert bees part.
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
They removed the stinger. They're honeybees, so you know.
It must have been some kind of thing that just
a humming
closed.
thing.
Yeah. And
Back when we had enough bees to do that.
yes,
Yeah, now we
I
can't do that
know.
anymore.
We can't be wasting our bees on vibrators
Right.
now.
Another loss for
Imagine
women.
if only.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's incredible. So one thing I read, I didn't include it in this because it wasn't queer specific, but it was dildos. There were bread dildos.
Ooh.
bread,
Bread dildos.
like a loaf of bread.
Yeah, they would use-
like
they
a
would-
Jake Goldman bread.
Yeah, essentially.
My baguettes are pretty hard.
I was gonna say it's just a French baguette.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
they're
it'd
a
have to
hard
be
crust.
baguette style for sure.
Yeah, I'll have to work on a dick loaf one day for
Please
everybody.
do. I really wish we had it here tonight. I would love some bread.
Next time, someone should tell me that we're gonna have a guest that wants bread.
Also, if you make a sourdough, that's good probiotics there too.
Yeah.
That's actually great.
All I'm saying is there's not enough yeast here.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
First, the one joke, the wet joke.
Didn't take it too far. I'm sorry.
Okay.
There was one other interesting thing from ancient Greece. In Sparta, there was like this well-known thing where like men would essentially groom boys. It was called erastes, eramenos relationships that existed with women as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're pretty certain about it. They're not 100%, but they're pretty certain that Spartan women essentially took up the same sort of 20 to 30 something on teenager relationship.
Wow.
Oh, so they were just Drake.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like a lesbian Drake.
Well,
Yes.
Drake is a lesbian, isn't he?
There was also like these choirs in ancient Sparta that they were like, it was like all women and they were alone. They're like, yeah, like the chicks were definitely hooking up in that.
Well, I think any environment that's like all women for an extended period of time, there's probably some of them that are hooking up.
For
I
sure.
think
Like,
any environment
you know,
where it's
all
all
girls
anyone.
colleges.
Yes, you're right.
Any monogendered, monosexual, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
like society, that's gonna happen.
Because
like,
people are going to want to fuck no matter who's around.
Right.
Like prison. Everyone's gay in
Right.
prison, which means
There
everyone's
was,
gay,
one
not
thing
in
there was one
prison.
thing I read from some guy who was in prison, and he was like, I don't know how you could be in prison longer than 5 years and not do something gay.
You can't.
Yeah.
This is a question I used to ask before I was a gay. I'm not a gay.
Lesbian.
Before I was a bisexual officially. But before those days, I would always ask people, like, how long are you in prison before you're gay?
Yeah.
How long? And for me, I was like, it depends what my sentence is. If I know I'm going to be there for 5 years, I'm probably just giving it up like day one, finding myself a daddy and like going for it.
Veronica's like, when's booking done?
Like, honestly.
You gotta look out for number one.
This is the question for all of you. How long before you're gay in prison?
For sure, if I knew I was there for more than a decade, I'd probably just like YOLO it from the start.
Right,
5
exactly.
years. And the thing is, am I still married? Like, even though I'm there, I probably wouldn't cheat on my wife.
Right. That's fair.
But like, if I knew I was there long enough that I was like, there's no way this marriage lasts.
Right.
I'm there too long.
Right.
Like, if I got life, I would for sure YOLO it date. Like, pretty quickly.
Just start. Like, why hold off?
I want to interject real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know how different it is between men's and women's prisons. A lot of times in these situations, you don't really get a choice in the matter.
Right.
Right.
That's
So
fair.
that's
That is fair.
that's your.
Which is
Well, let's say you
Why?
do have a choice in the matter. I think
Like,
I'm gonna last.
We're talking about a really fun
Yes.
prison.
Yeah,
Talking
we're talking
sandals,
about-
max
yeah.
security. Yeah, sure.
So I'm gonna last at least 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going right away too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I'm taken out in the shower, so I don't think I get a choice in the matter. Like, unfortunately.
Probably
Yeah.
way the least of us here. We're
I feel
definitely
like-
don't have a choice.
I'm gonna find a lucky Pierre.
You're gonna be the lucky Pierre.
No, I'm gonna
God, which
find
one?
one.
I feel like I've talked to Taylor about it, and I'm like, if I'm in prison, like, I'm gonna need to sidle up next to somebody who can protect me, and you know that. And
Well,
she's
right.
like, fine. Like,
Right.
yeah, you're right.
Or you
Like,
just go full human centipede.
well, we can't.
I don't know why you.
They can.
I don't
In
know.
prison,
I
though.
don't know why
Yeah.
you sew yourself to someone. in
Yeah,
prison.
that seems like a terrible idea. In prison.
I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Other than sew yourself to another human. No, there's a lot of other
eating
things.
shit.
A lot of other things. There's basketball courts
meant
and stuff there. Like you could do
Oh,
other
the
stuff.
sexual human
That's not a
centipede.
real
Human
thing,
centipede.
Right, of
right?
course.
That's just somebody's fucked up thought.
Human centipede.
Yeah.
That has not been that has not happened in real life to my knowledge.
Okay,
It probably has since the movie.
you think?
Well, if anything, it inspired it for sure.
Yeah, like
Ew.
Also, I don't know why anyone. First off, not a centipede. There's still only like what
6 legs.
6 limbs.
or eight limbs.
the people on the back end
12.
are dying for sure.
Well,
They're
that's how the movie
they're
goes.
not gonna make it.
I don't
Spoiler
think
alert,
middle's
the person-
doing well either.
Spoiler
Middle's
alert.
not doing great.
Front's doing fine.
Front is fine.
Front's thriving.
Front crushes. Front crushes.
Front is thriving.
If you have to be in the human centipede,
Yeah.
pick
You've
the
gotta
front.
be in the
Front's,
front.
Front's like, do you want
It's like a
food
roller
whenever
coaster, front
do
seat.
you want food whenever you want and a constant rim job?
Do you want the vanilla pudding or
Yeah.
what was it, or the fish head
Fish.
stew?
Yeah, like fish.
Oh God.
Ancient Rome, to move
Yeah.
on.
Thanks. Thanks for bringing it back.
Their ancient Rome was a little more documented with lesbians than ancient Greece.
Okay.
There's a famous Greek writer during the Roman era, but at this point, that it was part of the Roman Empire, named Lucian, who wrote a famous work called Dialogues of the Courtesans. And he had a couple interesting observations. He said, they say, this is where the term lesbian comes from, they say there are women like that in Lesbos, masculine looking, but they don't want to give it up for men. And I love that the Latin translation is give it up.
That's awesome. We've been using that term for a while, huh?
Yeah, that won't give it up.
They won't put out.
For men. Instead, they consort with women just like men. In another dialogue...
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. What is it? Who? Tell me what the phrase is. Who?
Lucian
Lucian?
is the guy, and he wrote
translated.
Dialogues of the Courtesans.
Okay. Am I a courtesan? What?
You
Well,
would be a
anyone's
lesbian in this one because they're from Lesbos, wouldn't they?
The Lesbos is an island in the Aegean.
And
it's a Greek
weren't
island.
they lesbians at Lesbos?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Lesbos
Well, no,
was-
it just was an all-women island, and they called Lesbos, and I think that is where the word lesbian derived
Yeah,
That's where
from.
Wonder
it's
Woman's
kind of
from,
I think
right?
where maybe Amazonians were
Yes,
inspired by as well.
yes.
I didn't really include Amazonians; they didn't really have anything that great in there that wasn't
We
not
almost skipped
mythic,
South
essentially.
America.
But
Not
yeah,
enough South American history out there.
There's plenty.
Simply
That's me.
not enough
Consort with a woman just like a man.
yeah. Well, it's more
It's
Taylor.
me. Well,
Taylor is consorting with you like a man.
like a man would.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought I was consorting with a woman who's just like a man.
No. I think
Okay,
it's
it's her.
more like
Okay.
yeah, she's
It's
acting.
about her.
You're
a
the
lot of-
concubine in this
A
one,
lot
V.
of lesbian history that I've found doing softcore research on this, because this is not in depth at all, is essentially like a lot of times they'll just attribute one of the women to being like mannish,
Yeah.
so or whatever. And through history, essentially, we'll get to this later. There's a lot of people who are like, yeah, it's not actually sex if there's no penetration.
And that is also still believed, and it's so stupid.
Yeah.
It means like you can only.
Well, they do believe that you don't need a dick to do the penetrating, but there just
Oh, I
needs
see.
to be
I see.
some sort of phallic penetration.
Okay,
So
well-
fingering wouldn't be enough.
Okay.
Wait, really?
Yeah, from what I've gathered.
Here's the thing. It was phrased to me so beautifully at one point, and like my perception of sex, like obviously changed once I started sleeping with women. But like you got to think of sex as a whole. WHOLE, not a whole. HOLE. And I think that's beautiful and correct. It's the journey, you know?
Yeah.
It's the whole journey.
Trust the process.
Yeah.
It is the process because nobody like.
It's not
the isolated act is like not what's fun for anybody. It's the whole process anyway, and like it. When you think about it like this philosophically, it then makes the concept of virginity so stupid, which it is famously is. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I do.
It makes sense to me.
think there's value to that threshold if you're talking about heterosexual or maybe even like
I don't know.
gay, like man on man sex. Like there's a difference between blowing someone and taking
To
one.
me, and I've said this before, and you know I've said this before, and I think it is true for a lot of women that a blowjob is much more intimate to me than
1,000% agree with that.
than
Sex?
intercourse. Than
Yeah,
intercourse.
really?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, think about it.
100%.
You're completely servicing someone in
Yeah.
that scenario.
It's
and
so much more vulnerable. It's so much more like intimate, and like I think on
Same
both
with going down on the
ends.
girls too. Like
Yeah.
I think
in the
both ways.
Sopranos,
Right.
and then like I guess in like Italian culture and like early '80s, '90s, going down on a woman was seen as like a sign of weakness.
it was
So this is what I'm saying.
they were
like,
called gay for it.
Oh, there was
Yeah.
a thing actually trending on
You know
Twitter.
what's gay?
eating pussy. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a thing trending on Twitter today how DC, I guess at some point in some cartoon or something, but like an adult cartoon. Not adult like porn, but adult like it was made for adults.
No, I
Batman
couldn't pick
is
up on
eating
that.
Harley Quinn's pussy, and DC asked to have it removed because a superhero wouldn't do that today.
Ew.
Today. I'll actually look at my Twitter right now.
That's
You guys,
I think that-
Harley Quinn, famously bisexual. I don't
also,
know
I'm
if
just gonna
famously,
throw out
but
wild
she is.
accusations, but I think that's also like kind of big in like the black community too. It's just like it's seen as a sign of weakness to go down on a
I'm
woman.
sorry, Batman goes down on Catwoman.
That makes sense.
DC asked the Harley Quinn team to remove a scene in season 3 where Batman goes down on Catwoman because heroes don't do that. That was today.
You mean the rich billionaire? doesn't go down.
First off, the first
Right.
thing,
I'm sure he does whatever he wants. He's
Yeah.
a billionaire.
yeah.
God, it's so problematic. And here's the other thing. Like, that's also true. I'm pretty sure I've not checked up on this, but a movie is rated PG-13 if a blowjob is simulated, but R if oral sex on a woman is simulated.
Wow, if a blowjob, because a movie also gets R if you use the word fuck more than once.
More than once.
So
You get a free
you
one.
get one fuck in PG-13.
Right. But like, they could, like, if there's like, a girl on her knees and like you see a
Yeah.
guy, like in a, not that you see too much, but that's PG-13.
Yeah.
But if it's for a girl, you see the guy coming up from the under the covers, it's R. But it's just like this, like, I don't know, this notion of like female pleasure being taboo, and it's just so stupid.
Well, let me get into that real
So
quick
fucking
right here.
stupid.
And there's another dialogue ascribed to Lucian where two men debate over which is better, guy on guy love or heterosexuality, man and woman. And they were kind of, I guess, at a fucking standstill. They're like, I don't know, they're both pretty great. But the one guy finally kind of, I guess, won the argument by being like, well, we can't fuck each other much as we would like, because if we started making like dude on dude love is legit, then soon lesbianism would be condoned as well, and that can't happen.
Oh my God, I'm like
I'm sorry,
so mad.
this is just like me making you cringe for.
I mean, it's not your fault. It's what happened. You didn't write the history. It's just so like.
Check it out.
It
He
just
did though on the
sucks.
Yeah,
spot.
I'm actually a time lord,
It's
deeply
just
opposed
sucks.
to
This is
women I
actually
was.
every account you read is just Rob back in time.
Also, Coop, can you bring like 4 more ranch waters? I'm just out already.
Do not give him more ranch water.
Yeah, give me more ranch waters. It's fine.
Please could be a
It just bothers me so much because all of these things are what like give women like issues today. Like all of this stuff, like these mindsets still hold, and it's like that is male insecurity. Like that is what that is.
And we're reaching about like 4,000 years into the past. at this point.
exactly, and it's like we still haven't gotten over it. Like grow up,
Right.
Like it's just. I don't know. And I feel like I am like so passionate about like women being sexual and like always was. And that's like,
The funny thing with that is too, like it would get dudes laid more if more chicks were allowed to like
we're
express
allowed
their
to
libido.
express their sexuality.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, but let me ask you this. I'm not disagreeing with you. I totally do.
Coop is the goat.
Thanks, Coop, for giving Rob booze. And okay.
Well,
I'll take one.
They're not for the table, but
They're one for me. But what I will say is that what is it? It gets dudes laid more. But I will say that in the backwards ass like thought process, now it's not a big win. Because
Right.
yeah,
And
it's not.
that is,
I earned
yeah.
this. I'm so special. I
Like,
got
they're
laid
so
when women don't
stupid.
put
like,
out.
Women need to pretend they don't want sex so a guy feels good about it.
Yeah.
And what
but
is that
let's-
condition?
let's
What
not
is that
lie.
condition? What is that condition though? It conditions people to not know what no is.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
the
well, because
playful
here's the
no
thing.
was a thing in college.
Right,
Like
the playful no,
Yeah.
which is bad. It is bad to do the playful no or to pretend you don't want to, so that
because
the
if that
guy
fucks
thinks
up
you're
us, we don't
something.
know what a no is.
Yeah.
It's bad, and I mean it's bad for other women who want to say yes or like it's
Wanna
just
say-
or
really
want
wanna
to
say
say
no.
no.
Yeah, right.
It's bad for everybody, and like. It's not, I don't blame young, like 19-year-old girls for feeling like they need to do it, but it's literally bad for everybody that's a thing.
And
Like-
who's also like the biggest perpetrator of like slut shaming other girls? Females.
Well, and I have thoughts about this, and I feel like
Girls don't support other girls.
I feel like girls who slut shame other girls, it's like this thing, like they're shaming someone for doing what they
Want to
are
do?
afraid to do. Yes. And it's like they think in their mind, I'm playing by the rules to make guys like me, and she's cheating. She's doing the easy thing to like make them like her, and she's better at it because yes. And they're like so mad that like you took the easy way when they like did it right, and it's stupid. Like just fuck if you want to fuck, or just don't if you want to don't.
I think
But
you're-
like,
And really, that's the lesson you should take away from this episode.
Fuck.
That's just fuck.
Fuck. That's actually gonna be our next T-shirt. Just says fuck.
Just fuck.
Yeah. I mean that can be extrapolated though to any kind of legislation against sexual morality too. I mean, like look at
Those are, aside from abortion though, those are relatively gone.
I don't know.
you still have people that can't like visit. I mean, maybe not anymore now, but like I know like people couldn't visit their husbands in the hospital and stuff. That's probably gone now.
The
But
Supreme Court case pretty much killed that.
It just happened though. Like I mean,
I
how
get
many?
that, but what I'm saying is though, pretty much all of that legislation at this point is gone.
Yeah, sure. But also, like, for instance, how many fucking people in certain states, South Carolina, do you think there are that are trying to pass further legislation or get that back on the docket? Because you know damn well they're into that shit, but they're playing
I don't
by the
think
rules.
they can. I don't think they legally can.
Oh, no, they have to reverse it in the Supreme Court, right?
which
yeah,
they won't do.
they won't
All
do. Right.
rules also about gay people is also this. It is also what we're talking about, sexual legislation and like morality based. Like that is what it is. And like people think like, oh, we have gay marriage, it's over, like we did it. Like it's not. Like there's still a lot of discriminatory laws against gay people, and that is all sexually based and morality based. And like Texas, like you can still at will fire someone for being gay.
You can
in, like,
fire
a lot
anybody
of
at Texas for
Can
anything.
you? Because the
Yes.
Supreme
No,
Court ruled on that.
Oh, you know what?
literally.
That one just passed this
Gorsuch,
summer.
That was, I
Gorsuch
think,
was the what was it?
there was one guy. I forget which judge it was. It was actually like the funniest.
It was
fucking
Gorsuch.
thing I
It was
read.
You don't
Gorsuch,
actually
'cause-
need
Was
a
it
reason
Gor-
to
yeah,
They
fire
brought it up to Gorsuch.
at all.
The
Gorsuch.
worst,
Is Gorsuch, what
the
is it?
worst way possible. Yeah.
Oh,
because-
yeah. Actually, it was. So that did get passed. So that's not a thing anymore.
But
it's
it
a
just
right-
happened like within
2
not.
years. I think it was like a year.
It doesn't
No.
matter. It's a
No,
right
I wanna
to
say it
was
You don't need a
pre-COVID.
reason at
It
all.
was
You don't need a
while
reason,
Taylor
yeah.
was deployed.
Again,
Okay.
So
they're not
it was
listening,
under a
but-
year ago.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
not listening. It's a right to work state. You don't need any.
You don't need a
to fire
reason.
person.
Is the thing in Texas.
That is true.
Yeah.
So yes,
you
but
could disguise it as something.
the thing we're talking about
else.
was the lawyer was like, the lawyer was arguing the Supreme Court essentially like you shouldn't discriminate against gay, because the argument was you could fire someone for being gay essentially, and the lawyer was like you shouldn't do that because it's wrong.
But can you think
And
of?
and the judge was like, but since there were already anti sex as in gender discrimination laws, where it's like, you know, you can't fire someone for doing something womanly or being a woman or whatever. The judge was like, well, that doesn't have anything to do with it. What it has to do with it is if I can't fire a woman for blowing a guy, I can't fire a man for blowing a guy.
Yeah.
No, it's
And the-
like
and the
he took
lawyer
the
was
most Neil
like-
Gorsuch way possible to do it.
The
which
lawyer was
great.
like, well, I get, and he's like, no, it doesn't matter. Sexual orientation doesn't matter. Sex matters.
He's like,
I can't,
Yes.
I can't fire a man for doing something that a woman would do. Like if a man
Love
wears a
it.
dress,
Yes.
it was a very actually weirdly conservative argument, or at least conservative based on the law that was already written.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The general sentiment wouldn't necessarily be, I guess,
he was
conservative.
Trump
but
pointy. He was the first one, Gorsuch.
Yeah,
But
it was just a really funny situation, and
well,
conservatives were furious.
if you read the text too, it's like, well, I'm a fucking judge. First of all, like he's actually really good about putting his party behind him.
Right.
But like in a way, he's almost like telling the lawyer, like, I'm winning your argument here for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fucking like very much made the argument
Yeah.
for the lawyer. It was I was cracking up when I was reading it because like how did this happen?
I would argue though the gays they're on quite a run right now.
I don't know.
Last 10 years or
There's
so.
still some
Very-
stuff.
very a
I
Jordan-esque
found
run.
out pretty recently, within the last 6 months, I realized like Taylor will have to adopt our own children, like
Which is insane.
which is insane and just discriminatory. Like we can be married and like obviously cannot the old-fashioned way conceive a baby together, but we will conceive of this child together, like do every like
I believe
step
in
of
you,
the way
Vic.
together, and she will have to adopt our children even if her name is on the birth certificate. Like
That's nuts.
that's just
Is that
fucking discrimination.
State or is that federal?
State.
Okay.
that
So there are some
checks
states
out.
where
Yes.
where that is not a
Right.
situation. Okay.
Yes.
Do you get to like
but I think
break
it's a
down
lot
the
of states-
file? Like when you go do you shop for this? Do you get to like
What do you mean?
do you get like stats on the semen?
There's a lot of different ways to do it.
No, sure. I don't know. That's I don't
That's
know.
a decision she probably
That
hasn't come
feels
to
like
yet.
a like really super personal question that like we can talk about some other time. But
No, I'm
the
just saying
point
like
being,
general. Do you like if you do it? do you get like do they kind of give you a breakdown of like
Can
where this is
I
from?
actually field this one?
Sure.
No,
Do you
I'm just
mind?
it's
I
something
don't
I-
mind.
It's something
Field
I'm
it.
interested
I
in.
actually just watched the most recent season of Master of None. So
Okay.
there's a couple different ways you can go about this. You can go through a pre-approved donor at a sperm bank, of course, but if you want to pick somebody that you think would be a great say like
You're like, I want someone that was 6'3".
You're like,
No, no, no.
Michael Phelps will give me his sperm.
no, but like
type
say
of
you
thing.
want to pick a close friend that you think is a responsible person
Right.
would be good father for your child. It costs
Good
more.
donor. Good donor
it
for your
costs
child.
more money to pick your own donor than someone that's pre-approved in a bank because then they have to go through the screening process of that. Like if you're going through
Background checks and
a
everything.
clinic situation too, which can actually be, it's even more of a diversion tactic, really. I think it's like, oh, well, it's going to cost a lot more money this way because we have to screen the sperm and we have to do all this and that. And it's like, I mean, if you want to do it through like a clinic specifically and you want them to like
Right.
help you out, but maybe I'm totally wrong and you should probably take this one over.
I don't know all of those facts. Honestly, I feel like I imagine, even if that's true, I imagine the cost on like the back end is going to be different because like I'm pretty sure you have to like pay per sample for like through
Oh,
a
that's a
bank
good
and
point.
like. Right, and if you
Yeah.
have someone it's kind of unlimited
Yeah.
supply
Yeah,
once
no,
they
it's-
do those.
it's there.
Right.
Yeah.
And also the someone you know stuff is like, yeah, you don't have to go through proper channels with that.
No, that's
You
true.
don't have to.
But if you're
We
going,
will, but
Right.
yes.
well, if you're going through IVF, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
Well, there's both.
It depends. Yeah.
Anyway, we don't
Yeah.
need to talk about my birth plan. But
Sorry,
point
yeah.
being,
I was just saying general
Yes, but she'll have to
broad
adopt
concept.
because motherhood is like determined in a state by the carrier. So even if we use her egg and I carry, she will still have to adopt the child that is like her egg.
Having watched a woman carry a child, I don't necessarily disagree with how motherhood is determined.
Fine,
But yeah.
fine,
So it's insane
but,
that she
like,
doesn't get to
yes.
be.
If that's the
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
though, do couples that have a surrogate, do they have to also adopt their
I think
child?
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Oh, that's also
really
stupid. So that goes for heterosexual couples who have
Damn.
a surrogate.
Damn.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's fucking backwards.
I
Like,
think they do it because it makes it seem like less discriminatory. But yes,
Right.
motherhood is determined through the carrier, and like thankfully, like it's now in the and gay people had a fight for this too. That like both parents could be on this birth certificate, and I think once gay marriage was legalized, they retroactively were able to like add people to the birth certificate. So as long as Taylor and I are married, both our names will be on the birth certificate of our children, but she will still have to adopt the
So here's
child
the
that
fucked
she
up thing.
parented and is on the birth certificate. That doesn't prove parentage.
How much does it cost to file for that?
I don't know,
Yeah. So
but
that's
something.
That's
But it's not free.
right.
Yes.
That's
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
It's
Seems
like-
like
it's a
something
gay
the military
tax.
might actually help with.
I don't know.
I mean,
Well, it'll help. She'll just have to show up to
historically-
every office in her dress blues, so to
and be
speak.
like, oh, please,
Yeah.
it's for the troops.
Yeah, exactly. It's for the troops.
Yeah, I don't know.
but yeah, wouldn't
so
that
hold
just
on,
be?
wait, let's
go-
we gotta
yeah,
move through the
let-
topic
yeah,
here.
Yeah.
So Romans had some fun words for lesbian.
Okay.
Because lesbian wasn't
A word.
the word yet. Yeah. So the first ones might sound familiar. Tribus.
Oh, like tripping.
Yes. And actually, I had to click over to this to make sure it was the right thing. And Wikipedia had a great stock photo.
Oh God, I don't want to see it. Oh, that's fine.
What
I
is-
know.
wait,
Mostly,
It's not
it was,
that bad.
No,
Is
I
it?
know. It was just mostly funny to me because they fully illustrated the butthole on the chick on top.
Sure.
Is the image
And also,
with
she's
the-
having a great. I don't know. Like she's
enjoying
the one on the
herself.
bottom's
That's
having a
the
great
image
time.
for Trippus? Is it supposed
Tribbing.
to like
Tribus. Do
tripping?
people?
Tribus.
Do the people
I-
know what
I
tribbing
don't know what
is?
tribbing is,
Okay,
so I would love
will
this.
explain this
Yeah.
to you.
Thank you.
One more time. Tribbing.
Tribbing with bees. It's basically like dry humping, but wet, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just gine on gine rubbing. And so like people think that's scissoring. Scissoring is like very specifically that
The legs.
horny
The
position
scissors,
where
yeah.
yes. And like
The scissoring is a subset of
yes,
tribbing.
scissoring is a type of tribbing.
Yes.
And I don't think it is commonly practiced. Tribbing, I think, is more commonly practiced.
Right. The way fucking your stepmom on a balcony is not commonly
Not
practiced.
commonly practiced.
Right.
Just like that. just like
In porn?
that.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes. So tribbing is just rubbing gines, basically.
Wow.
So tribus was the first one.
Interesting.
This is my favorite. This
Okay.
actually might have been my favorite fact that I learned throughout this whole thing.
Okay.
Another name was Frickatrix.
Frickatrix.
So
Friction?
tricks, obviously, you'll
Too many syllables.
know from dominatrix.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So that's
okay.
part of the etymology of that. But it roughly translates to yes, you're right, friction. It roughly translates to one who rubs.
Okay. So also we're talking about tribbing again.
Essentially, yes.
Yes. Okay.
That's more of a fun spin on it, though.
Yeah, I like frickatrix.
Frickatrix.
Yeah.
It sounds like
That's me, a frickatrix.
Yes.
All right.
I enjoyed that name the most by far. Maybe
It's kinda cute.
being like a little etymology like nerd or whatever, but I
Silly
enjoyed that.
rabbit.
Wait, but
Yeah,
I was about to say
Frickatrix.
Trix. Wait, Trix cereal is spelled Trix, isn't it?
Sure is.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not for kids. Those tricks ain't for kids. You
No,
know?
tricks are very much not for kids.
Not for kids.
No,
Not for kids.
no. So that
That
rabbit's
rabbit-
a pedophile. Did we just cancel the fucking tricks rabbit?
No, the
We did
rabbit.
it.
The rabbit is not the pedophile. It's everyone taking the tricks from the rabbit. and
No,
giving
the
it
rabbit's
back
trying to stop them. Yeah, the rabbit's like, this isn't for kids.
The rabbit's really
This isn't for kids.
The rabbit's really puritanical. Like, he's just like a very like. The rabbit's a Mormon, or actually, shit, no,
No, the rabbit's normal.
Yeah.
Tricks aren't for kids.
Yeah.
And the
yeah.
kids are like, no, we want it. And he's like, you're not ready.
Yeah, give it a couple years,
Yeah,
learn
you're
about
not ready.
yourself, then you can see this cereal.
Not such a silly rabbit.
He is a silly rabbit.
It's a very developed rabbit.
We opened a lot of eyes on this podcast. The last one, which also cracked me up, was virago, which translates roughly to a woman who demonstrates exemplary and heroic qualities.
That's awesome.
Taylor's a virago.
The word comes from the Latin, basically the same thing, meaning vigorous, and vir means man or man-like.
That's
Okay.
not in
She's
the
a pure
astrology sign.
virago.
Yeah, if you're a man, you're heroic, of course. And ago is essentially the genderization of the word.
Okay.
So
and then they ended in an O.
Yeah.
Oh my God. My little virago.
Yeah, exactly. She's your little virago.
You should just start calling her that and not explain it.
Yeah.
Maybe I will. Maybe I just will.
Put it in your vows. I just want to have as big of an imprint on your wedding as possible.
All right. I'll be like, hey, virago.
Yes.
Veronica and virago. I made it more about me.
Look at that. Yes, exactly. And then there was one other thing, call back to an old episode, our Pompeii graffiti episode. There was one piece of
episode, yeah.
graffiti in Pompeii
Ooh.
where they found typically, like, there's all, I don't know if we told you about this, the graffiti in Pompeii was either reviews of like brothels or just random it was like Twitter essentially.
Oh, it sounds like bathroom stalls.
Roman
like
graffiti, yes.
Like for a good
The
time
entire
call.
city
Yes.
was
Okay.
like that.
The
though,
entire
yeah.
all of Rome was like that, not just Pompeii, but any city.
Okay.
The bathroom was essentially, or not the bathroom. The graffiti was essentially Twitter.
Okay.
Any random thought you had was
Yeah.
thrown up on any
Cool.
fucking wall.
That's
Well,
kind of fun.
You got to think too. Everyone's pissing on walls half the time anyway, so
Yeah.
Yes.
it's kind of when they are using the bathroom.
yeah.
yes.
All right.
So there was one that they found that they believe was a woman to woman love. They found lots of like male to female or vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, but they found one that they believe was woman to woman, and this was so essentially like a love tweet, but Roman graffiti.
Oh,
And it
what
was-
did it say?
I wish I could hold to my neck and embrace the little arms and bear kisses on the tender lips. Go on, doll, and trust your joys to the winds. Believe me, light is the nature of men. But they believe that was a girl-to-girl love letter.
Even the girl-to-girl love letter has the word men in it.
I think that means, men translates to
Human.
humans. Yeah, at that point.
Humankind.
Can I just say, I really think that we like got it backwards, and it should have been like men meant human, and human was a man, and woman was a woman. You know, like, sorry, it makes sense in my head. Like, the general word could be like men, and then like we specify human, like right for a man, like this kind of man, woman, this kind of man, like.
It is what it is.
It makes sense. It makes
Well,
more sense.
it-
We
but
we've
It'd be
had
more
that,
like,
like,
it'd be more like
so.
to just call it humankind instead of mankind.
Yeah, I think if you keep
Well,
it,
But no, mine's
To me.
right.
I mean,
well, no,
okay.
human.
I
human's the
just get like
species,
a slight Latinx vibe
Yeah.
from that.
I
And
mean,
I'm like,
I'm not gonna like rewrite the English language.
Right.
It's just what I think like should have happened. I think in a butterfly effect somewhere, it is the way I've described it.
You are right. That's probably the same situation that's going on with lesbian history here, where they're like,
sure.
yeah, no, guys.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the dudes are what matters.
The dudes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That is it for the ancient times. We have a little bit of Middle Ages to go on, though.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I showed you the tripping.
Actually,
Sorry.
it's probably terrible. The Middle
Actually,
Ages.
typically, lesbianism was way less of a concern in the Middle Ages. So Middle
Really?
Ages are
That's
kind
what I was
of
thinking.
considering like medieval.
Okay,
Bigger problems,
when we're
like
I'm
dying
trying
of
to
the
picture
plague,
a medieval right now. Like we're talking like these like pub songs and like
Knights and
okay,
maidens
okay.
and the
I just wanna
Crusades,
I
stuff
feel
like that.
I'm not that historical because I feel like also Victorian maybe is what I'm
No,
thinking.
Victorian's not even close to Middle Ages.
Later.
Victorian is
Way later.
Yeah, it's basically modern times. Victorian,
Like
the
1800s.
The Victorian era ended in the 20th century.
Okay.
Middle Ages is bring out
But
your dead.
okay,
I would think like 1100 to 1300 is Middle Ages.
No, Middle Ages would
1400?
be like 700 to about 1400.
Before the Enlightenment, right?
Before the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, stuff like that.
I feel like I have a picture.
Yeah.
Medieval is like basically everyone's
Talking
poor.
Black Death
Everyone's
and-
poor. Everyone's like in like some random.
That's a bit of an anachronism. It's not actually quite that way at all. But like, yeah, for
But what
in
I'm
terms
picturing,
of yes.
What media
You-
portrays.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it wasn't that big of a concern because most people were like, dude, why would chicks want to get with each other? Like all our penises are rad. They don't need anything else.
Checks out.
Yeah.
Checks out for logic.
Yeah, like of course we'd want to fuck each other because our penises are rad.
That's all anyone
like
wants.
that
Rob,
might
is
happen
dick.
because we have got rad dicks. But like, why would chicks need anything
Like,
else?
oh, remember all the girls who like only can finish from like oral sex and like not at all from penetration?
Yeah.
Just
Isn't
like
that a-
remember that.
Isn't that like a really high percentage?
Like a very high percentage.
It's like
Super high
It's like
percentage.
I feel like it's like half and
It's like
half.
most.
Yeah,
To be fair,
or
though,
more than yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to belittle your gender or anything like that, but biologically, your orgasm doesn't really matter.
Sure. It doesn't
It
doesn't serve a purpose, but
Right.
like neither does yours most of the time.
Well, yeah.
You're served a purpose for 3 months of your life while
Right.
you're trying to get pregnant.
when I'm
Like,
tossing it into a cave,
it also it doesn't usually matter either.
Is that what you call your toilet?
Yeah, that is what going to it. Yeah. No, which is unfortunate actually though, because you would think there would be some like gain to like, I don't know, you would be more prone to getting pregnant if you were orgasming or something.
Yeah. I think that you might. I don't know if
I would
it's
say
true.
conversely though too, maybe if the guy, say if we go take it back a little bit, the guy is known for, man, he makes everyone get off. He's probably going to biologically spread his seed more too.
That's true.
Word
That's
travels.
true.
Word
That is
travels.
true. That is
Yeah.
true.
Great point. Great point.
But so
Especially in
in
the Greek community.
yes.
That was very good, Dan. Regester on the board.
In medieval Europe, just to continue this theme, lesbian sex that didn't use a dildo or some other kind of penetrative thing, like that's still not considered full sex, which is a pretty decent life hack if you don't want to get burned at the stake.
Sure.
Like, no, we just rubbed on each other. It's fine.
It's fine. Who, us?
Yeah. What? No, we just 69.
What? We just like had more orgasms than everyone in the land? Like,
You'd have to keep that part quiet.
us?
One of the funniest parts, though, about people not caring about lesbianism as much, or like women hooking out with women as much as men hooking out with men, is that the church even had a lesser punishment for women who hooked up with
This
women.
I knew. And I really only learned it from Gentleman Jack. I don't know if you've heard of this show that's on maybe Hulu. I don't remember. But I feel like it was maybe like a more of like a Victorian. It was like when people are
Yeah.
like posh and
That's Victorian, I think.
Yes,
yeah.
it reminds me
This
of.
is like slopping in the mud.
Yeah, right. So I think it's like kind of Victorian, or I don't know if there's others similar to Victorian.
Right.
But she is like basically convincing Gentleman Jack is, I don't remember her name. She's a real person though. And like a big time lesbian who like landowner, like she's wealthy,
Right.
whatever. And she like kind of convinces this like older, and I have that in quotes because she's probably like 23 or something, like woman to be
Right.
like, well, you haven't met anybody yet, and like we're kind of in love, right? And like it's fine, like you could just like live with me. And like they like did like a fake marriage like ceremony, whatever. But like as she's convincing her, like, no, trust me, it's fine. She's like, it's not the same as two men together. Trust. Like, it is, it's not, the Bible doesn't condemn it. Like, there's no punishment
Plus,
for it.
if people show up, there's a certain subset that might be like, whoa, hold on. This is a little hot.
I don't.
And you know who was also
Well, hold on.
You know who was also working
Hold
with
on.
the church and like priests and everything, just kind of making a little side money?
Who?
The brothels. So you had like the
Oh,
madams,
surely.
and the madams probably had like the most control of everybody. Like that was probably the best job to have as a female in the Middle Ages.
It's so crazy to me how much we like condemn sex as a society and like this purity culture, when it's like that is the reason for all of the issues. Like sex is like the most important thing. It is so important. Like we
I would say
all think about
aside from poverty, yes. I would say
okay, yes.
it would go poverty and sexual frustration. 1, 2.
Yeah.
Imagine if everybody was
And
asexual.
they're linked in a certain way because there's one comedian
get so
said, I
much
don't remember who it
done.
was, nobody wants to fuck someone who rides the bus.
Where would society be if everyone was asexual?
Not very
Not
far.
asexual?
Yeah.
It'd be really
gone.
one
What
and
are you talking
done.
about?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I have to.
No, it would be pandas. So somebody would save us.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You think pandas are just like
There's
pushing
no-
us up to each other?
there's no-
Just like,
there's-
come on, eat this steak.
They
What, who
return
would
the
say,
favor.
what? There's no orangutans like, my God, we have to make these fucking bears fuck.
Well, no, the aliens interact finally.
Well, it's not surprising to me though to hear about like the puritanical approach, especially in this country. Like we are, regardless of what we want to like feel about ourselves, we were based in a lot of puritanical shit.
You know what?
Absolutely.
Here's the thing, though,
Like,
and
this is a
here's what
Christian nation.
here's what I take up. What I get a little not annoyed or anything about, but like what I take issue with is that, yeah, shit on the Puritans all you want, and you should, but like that really lets Europe off the hook
Oh, totally.
Sure.
because they weren't
any better.
some fucking pansexual orgy
No,
while
no.
That the Puritans were fleeing. I mean, what's the guy
No, it
fucking
was-
touring?
Yeah.
In the 50s,
But I
was
think-
chemically
castrated.
castrated
Yeah, sure,
for being
no,
gay.
of
like
course.
Europe was not some.
I mean, during this like time, I mean, it really, to me, and you might know more if I might be wrong, but it seems like the rise of Christianity is the rise of this, because obviously you're like Rome and Greece and Egypt, I feel like they were fucking more. Yeah?
So
Not
from what I
necessarily
read,
No?
they were well. Like I said, like what I read, Egypt and Greece and Rome weren't into it. Like they didn't want women to do it, and there were
Right.
definitely punishments, like
But the
unofficially.
men at least were fucking more.
Yes, for
People
sure.
were fucking more.
And I mean, the Catholic Church, the Vatican, most popes had kids.
Yeah.
Really?
dude,
Oh, I didn't know
can't-
that.
Man, I can't really comment on the fuck rates in general.
Sure.
What I can tell you though is that even by the time the Christianity had really taken hold of Europe, there's only 12 confirmed cases through the Middle Ages. We're talking centuries upon centuries
Yeah.
of women who were. There was more for men, but for women who were convicted of being a lesbian, essentially,
Yeah.
12 across. We're talking like 5-6
and
centuries.
my thought is they're like women have less power. There's like really no point. It feels like right in my mind. It's
You can
like,
handle that at home.
yes, and like it's like a lot of paperwork. Like, and for what reason? For what
Right.
payoff? Like she
Right.
doesn't hold any power. Like who cares? Like who's trying to get her?
They're certainly oppressed, but
yeah, right.
to-
But there's no reason to like jail her.
right.
Like who cares?
But I really don't know. It really would be
Listen, Joan of
again
Arc
like
did some damage.
okay, Joan of Arc, big time less.
Yeah.
Right? Big time.
For sure.
God.
I don't know. Yeah, I think she was a les for God. I don't know that she strikes me as a like.
I have heard things that where she like maybe was trans
That-
even. So
there's a lot of, like,
I think
projection
there's a
in
lot of
history.
different things.
Which I understand because people like it's nice for me. Like I can look back and be like Julius Caesar or like not that I'm fucking related to him or
Right.
like, but I have like a
Yes.
long history.
Of, like,
whereas
people to
like
look towards.
transsexual
Yes.
people are lesbian, they don't, and so they have to project. But historians, even like gay historians, do caution against like. I mean, you can take inspiration from them, but it's
so yes, it is hard to say.
You
and
can't just call someone
And here's
something.
the thing: the same thing. Like you can't do it today. You cannot tell someone what they are, right? And we can't tell someone else what somebody was. Like we don't know.
Wrong.
She could have just been.
My parents tell me every day I'm a
she
failure.
was pretty manly.
Well, she's fighting fucking wars on the front line.
I get Les vibes from her.
Sure.
That's just me.
I mean,
What do I know?
I don't
take
think
what you want.
I think it's pretty easy to figure out.
Take
like,
what you want.
They're there.
There's,
Yeah,
well,
they're
there's
there.
Definitely, there's definitely a difference between like you being like, yeah, it's the vibes I get, and I'm going
Listen,
to interpret that way, versus
Veronica's gaydar, it's on point. She called Kylie Jenner.
Kendall.
That was
Jenner.
Kendall. They're the same person.
I don't
Kendall.
appreciate your racism.
Kendall has still not come out, but she does a lot of queer baiting. That Kendall Jenner.
Right.
Remember when she came out as having acne?
Oh, queer
Did you guys see this?
It's huge.
course.
It's huge.
She like made I have an announcement. There's something I've been hiding from you guys, and then she was like, Accutane or
Is this
whatever.
before or after the Pepsi commercial?
After.
Okay.
I
She
still think
solved
she's
everything with that
gay.
Pepsi.
I think she like. Here's the thing: everybody who's like best friends with Cara Delevingne for 6 months is like probably fucking
Dude,
her.
but Cara Delevingne fucked Elon Musk.
Sure, but she's also like fucked every woman in Hollywood.
I wouldn't even call that a straight move.
Yeah.
I don't know what gender Elon Musk is, but it's probably like robot.
I actually think
or-
it's super straight because you gotta really want a dick to fuck a dick with that face on it.
He's got a lot of money attached to him too, but
fuck it. Well, that's true.
Well, old Elon.
Cara Delevingne is bi.
Bald
but
Elon.
I know, yeah,
but
she
I
is.
feel like she is more gay than straight.
Yeah. You know
I
that?
would say.
yeah,
Yeah, Elon Musk.
also helps her-
pre-money was an ugly, very fucking
very
dude.
ugly. He's not.
He didn't have
much
any
better
hair.
now.
he has plugs.
For sure has plugs. Yeah.
Dude, I have no idea. I'm glad I don't know that much about him, honestly.
Hey,
like,
you
I don't
just
need
look
to
at a
know.
picture before and after. It's like,
I don't need to.
yeah.
I'll
You
just
should've
take
gone
your word for
Bezos
it.
He was a
and shaved it.
programmer.
I'm gonna move on a little bit. By the way, so we
Let's
talked
do
about
it.
lesbianism being less punished. There was one
Uh-oh.
thing that was more punished though, and that was none on none.
Ooh, I could see
You
that.
know what? That's actually fair. You agreed not to fuck
You're
anyone.
breaking a vow.
You're not
agreed.
cheating on a man. You're cheating on God.
You're cheating on God. That was on you. You just shouldn't have said.
Like that you're still standing God.
I do not stand
just
God.
messing with
I
you.
do
I'm
not
sorry.
stand God, but I stand authenticity. And you said like I'm fine. I
Yeah.
don't need to fuck anyone. Just say I don't like dudes. Just admit it. Like
Also-
just admit it.
Talk about one of the most abusive people in history.
Who?
God. I mean, with that kind
The
of track,
most abusive.
with that kind of track record, you're
Old-
gonna step out on that man with
No,
Old
it's not
Testament-
smart.
that body count.
I do want to remind
Not
you,
smart.
Old Testament God killed like 30 kids with a bear because they
He,
called him
like,
should
bald.
actually-
he like killed a lot.
It
He was
should
pretty
actually-
murderous.
Be noted that at one point in the New Testament, Jesus, a tree wouldn't give him fruit, and so he killed the tree.
No,
Like
it's
with
like,
a touch, like Grim Reaper was like,
Yeah.
fuck this tree.
But yeah, the bear situation.
But that actually makes me like Jesus more.
But actually, too, God creates every single human being, and then they die. So he's killed everyone.
yeah, but we go to heaven.
no.
No,
Here's
Not
the
all of them
thing.
do.
not until
Yeah,
Jesus.
not you, but we go to heaven.
Well, we
I-
invented God, so fuck you. All right.
I
Well, we
just
didn't.
don't really. I do not stand God. Like from everything I hear, like he's a bad guy. He is controlling. He's jealous. Like he's
Yeah.
murderous. Like
Yep.
he's not my guy.
Don't doubt him.
To be
The
fair,
biblical God is not my guy.
Which one though?
Yahweh.
Man,
it's actually, I think it's actually L, and then it turned into
No, no,
L.
no. El is Yahweh's dad.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
right.
yeah, it's really weird that like no one knows we pulled Yahweh from like a very
council of gods.
Yeah, bunch
Well,
of
that's
them.
the
We were
thing,
just like
and
that
the reason
guy.
why the first rule, the first commandment is I'm the Lord thy God. You shall have no other gods beside me. Is because Yahweh was jealous that people were praying to his brothers and
that comes
sisters.
before murder.
Yeah,
It's before murder.
it's before
before
everything, dude.
Before anything, he's jealous. He said, "Don't question me. Don't have faith in." If there was no one else, you wouldn't have to say, "Don't believe in anyone else."
Well, there
right?
is someone
like,
else.
Yeah,
Man that stepped out.
he's not. He from everything I
got
hear, like he
sent to the
doesn't sound like a
underworld.
good guy.
Oh well,
But that's
fair.
just me.
But yeah, women got 3 years of penance. Girls and widows were actually judged less harshly because the church leaders at least recognized that like they didn't have like sex readily available.
Okay.
So it was like, well,
They need
you know,
something.
sometimes that'll happen. Like you need
Everyone
a
gotta eat.
little- This was all from Theodore of Tarsus, by the way, who is
old Teddy.
interesting. Yeah. But there are records about a dozen medieval women, like I said, who were involved in lesbian sex, which is not good. That there are records of them.
Only a dozen.
Okay.
Because if there's records of them,
Yeah.
they come from the courts.
Sure.
And they were all either imprisoned or executed.
Yeah.
So
So it's
medieval
not
courts.
ideal. That's the only
Yeah.
execution I want to talk about because I
And then
really
they
don't
went-
want.
Then they went to prison. It was basically like
Seems like
setting them up for
I
the
bet it was a
crime.
fair
Not the same
trial.
prison. not America's prisons.
What was it like then? Just like you're in a dungeon or something?
You're in a cage, and if you're having sex, it's non-consensually with probably some guy that looks like a
prison guard of
axe
some
wielder.
sort.
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
thing.
His name's like
Yeah.
guttural. Like, you know, it's like that.
In Europe, though, there was this is more interesting to me. This is more actually like
We'll be the judge of
real
that.
lesbianism, being like a real I don't know that, but it's girl on girl. It's women hooking up with each other. And
Sapphic women.
Yeah.
That's the term for girl on girl.
appreciate that. I'm a little ranch
Sapphic.
water deep right now, so I don't not great with the terms.
Go for it.
But
Keep
there were
going.
two medical situations linked to women hooking up with women. One was basically that a woman started going bananas because she wasn't getting laid.
As one does.
Because she didn't have a husband. And so her seed was built up inside of her. And if you remember from our birth control episode, this is where a midwife would step in.
Okay.
Because midwives were kind of catch-all doctors for women.
Okay.
A midwife would come in and place, this is a direct quote, hot items on the woman and then bring her to orgasm.
I love that for her.
Yeah. So I think they'd maybe put like a couple heated
but
stones on her
that
stomach.
doesn't count as lesbianism, right?
No, that was a medical treatment.
It's
That's
medical.
medicine.
I'm
Yeah,
going to be
that's a
like
medical
all the
orgasm.
time like, oh, I need to go to the doctor
Well, that's where the term-
again. I'm
That's just a
sick.
friend helping another friend out.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's a,
that's
hey, buddy.
We mentioned that in the birth control episode. I wasn't here, but like hysteria literally comes from like the root word
Uterus,
his. Yeah,
yes.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
So like they're like, oh, we're treating hysteria. This is medicine, and it's
They're like literally like,
yeah.
okay, fine. Your husbands won't make you come. I'll do it.
Yeah, there we go.
Call the doctor. Yeah.
The husband's like, it can't be my dick. She's crazy. Help fucking fix her.
This reminds me of, I don't know if you know about like pelvic floor dysfunction at all, but
The what?
Pelvic floor dysfunction. It's like a thing that is like really underdiagnosed in like women today. And I think like a lot of times makes orgasm difficult, or it can. It's like if your pelvic floor is like too tight or too loose. It generally can be too loose if like after childbirth, and like that's the reason like people have leaky peas or whatever.
Right.
Like but it could be too tight. Actually, if you do Kegels and you have not been told by a doctor that you should do Kegels, they're bad for you. Like it will
Right.
make your shit too tight. It is like
It's like how Dan gets too swole.
Dan's giggling right now.
Sure, just like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so pelvic floor dysfunction, like you can go to like a specialist and they pretty much like go in with their fingers and like tap on the inside of you to like loosen up your muscles. It's this fucking same thing still happening.
Yeah.
But probably more medically sound, honestly.
Then,
But that's what it reminds me of.
then a wooden
Yes.
dildo and two dirty fingers.
Actually,
going
and they still they prescribe like a dildo for you to like take home, and I think they call them wands, and like
Is it a
Try
I
to,
like
like-
that the medical term is wand.
Is
I
it,
think that's what it
are we
is.
talking
I think.
Hitachis right now?
I don't know.
That's a wand, right?
A what?
A Hitachi. You don't know what that is?
No. What are you putting in
Read
you?
up, bro.
I got
Putting
my
in- What are
wand
you putting
from
in you?
It's
Harry Potter world.
Sure.
I feel like Hitachi's like the most commonly,
Universal,
you know, like
baby.
whenever you're like, oh, it's a shoulder massager, but it's
Yeah.
really, that's,
oh,
the- but
Hitachi. It's a brand.
Yeah, it's
yes, I know what you're talking
it's
about.
the Hitachi massage wand.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think they're quite as large as all that. But
Yeah,
there
that
is
is kind of
something,
bulky.
yes, that if your pelvic floor is too tight because you did too many Kegels because the patriarchy told you to, you have to do that to like release those muscles. It really is not
Yeah.
really mostly from Kegels.
We
it's
do
like
send that out in the patriarchy newsletter, by the way. We're like,
Yes,
there's no
you're
such
like-
thing as too tight.
Well, it's so problematic, but it really is. It's like you carry tension. The way you can carry tension in your back, you can carry it in your pelvic floor also, and like those muscles
Oh,
can't
I
relax.
Fully believe that.
That
Yeah.
makes total sense.
Yeah.
They're muscles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So some people carry their tension there, and
You got to
like,
massage your
it makes-
shoulders.
exactly, and
Yeah.
it makes a lot of things. It makes orgasm
No,
difficult.
no, you
it
can't
makes
stretch.
like lubrication
Yeah.
So
difficult.
it's like a stress
Exercise.
thing. And
Yeah. But similar, you have to send them to the doctor and somebody just goes
Right.
in there and like
Just
does the shit.
loosens it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, man. So it's fun.
It's still happening.
yeah. Still to this day.
To this day.
What is it? Shit don't change?
Shit don't change.
Pussies don't
What's
change.
that from?
Oh.
I know you hate
Is
that
is
word.
a
My
thing?
wife hates that word too.
I hate it
What is shit don't
colloquially.
change? Is that
It
thing?
just seems like it should only be in sex.
It should only be in
Pussy.
sex.
Pussy.
I actually prefer it less
Out of
in sex.
sex.
Yeah, I prefer out of sex. But like, don't be such a pussy. And I know that's obviously.
So in sex, you're just like, let me see your
Yeah.
cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he gets. He's like, pussy's gross in sex. I say cunt.
No, I don't, think
Yeah.
it's I don't think it's gross in sex, but I just like it's more effective outside of sex. To me, I don't know.
I prefer womb broom.
Okay, gross.
Yeah.
Womb room?
Womb broom.
I don't get
I'm all ham wallet.
Okay, I hate all of these vagina words.
Yeah, I
I do
know.
enjoy twat though.
I guess no.
Twat's
dick-
funny.
I think it's
twat.
I think it's
What's up? Dick
we
would
should
be the
bring
womb
twat
broom.
into the repertoire a little more. Like I always mean to call people a twat and I forget.
And it's very specific and useful.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It really packs a punch.
It
twat.
does. It's fucking twat.
You're
He's
such a
fucking
twat.
It's like an
It's
annoying
so
person,
good.
right?
Yeah, it's like an
Yes.
annoying,
Yes.
stupid person. It's so perfect. It's so illustrative.
It's-
of
I
what-
love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
This is non sequitur, but dolt is something I think we should also
Dolt.
bring back.
I don't
fucking
know this
dolt.
word. Dolt?
Like, yeah,
What is that word?
DOLT.
Doesn't offend me
Dolt.
enough.
It just
Yeah.
means a very stupid
that
person.
dolt and Pratt.
I don't know about
No.
Pratt.
I don't know
Pratt's
either
good.
of
These
these
hit.
I like.
words.
None
Dolt's-
of these
He's a
hit.
fucking dolt.
You fucking dolt.
None of these
None
hit.
of them are twat. I'll say that
No,
much.
none of
agree
them
with
are twat. Let's be real.
We have one more little thing to get through.
What about,
Okay.
What
Just
about
the-
bozo?
There is
Bozo.
No,
I love Bozo.
Bozo hits.
I think
Bozo
bozo.
hits.
I don't know.
I
I think
agree.
the people that use bozo ruin bozo.
No, calling somebody a bozo is. I would be way more offended if somebody
I
called me a
love
bozo.
using like
Than a stupid
silly
fuck.
words for this.
Yeah.
Like saying something is Christina actually says this. She's like, oh, it was all cattywampus. I'm like, you're right.
That's
it
a
was.
good word.
It was cattywampus,
That is a good
wasn't
word.
it? Like
It's
I
diagonal.
love using words like this. So sign me up. Co-sign on Bozo.
Buffoon.
Buffoon.
Buffoon's good. 16th century name for a black pirate, according to 30 Rock.
Interesting.
Probably not accurate.
Probably not.
Can't imagine that's right.
Yeah, don't send that out on your history podcast as fact.
No. So there was obviously European Middle Ages felt that. There was also the Arab world had some thoughts on lesbians.
The
And
Arab
I'm
world?
sure they
Yes,
have some very
the Muslim
progressive
world
things.
and
Oh, Arab.
Arab
I
world.
thought you said air
The
world.
Middle
Like,
East. The Middle
I
East.
thought he meant like the,
the
Air
sky,
Force.
I was like,
Pilots really weigh in on lesbians.
So this is actually.
Once Amelia Earhart got up there, like, hold on.
Yeah.
This
Amelia
is also.
actually the pioneer in lesbians too, probably.
This is weird, Rob. I'm seeing in your notes. This is from 2020, huh? Okay. So we're going a little bit modern history here in the Arab world.
Well, I don't know how much has changed, but lesbians in the Arab world, Middle Ages, interesting thoughts. And it's funny because the Arabs at the time, by the way, I didn't include the Chinese in this because I did research on it and there was nothing.
Really?
Nothing.
They
It's
don't
because you're a
document.
coward, John Cena.
Right.
You don't want to
They
speak
don't
ill
talk
of the
a lot
Chinese.
about sex over there, do they?
No, and it's just this is how like subdued lesbian is basically
Yeah.
woman on woman history
Yeah.
is.
I was gonna be
Not a lot.
Because it's
I was
also
te-
like woman history is subdued, right? Like there's not like there's much more
Right.
history on men in general than women.
unless a woman is a head of state or did something otherwise
Right.
wildly impressive.
Right.
Like you've got like Elizabeth I and
Sure.
Catherine the Great.
Yeah, there are some famous ones in
Right,
there,
but
but like
it's- yes.
Mulan.
yes.
Yeah. So the Arabs at this time, the Middle Ages, were essentially the best at medicine and everything.
Yeah.
Like they were it. They were one of the reasons they were more effective a lot of times during the Crusades, where they were better at dealing with battlefield injuries
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I mean, they were scientifically better. I want to say actually like someone else talked about this, but the two worst events in human history in terms of like nuking knowledge were the burning of the Library of Alexandria, which is actually kind of debated, and I don't think that's necessarily true. But then the
Hiroshima?
sack of Baghdad.
The second bad where the streets ran red with blood.
Yeah.
The Mongolian
Mongols
sect.
sacked
Yeah.
Baghdad. Yeah.
So, and this affected like our knowledge because of like some kind of
Yes.
He said
okay,
it's
like,
back,
It's
'cause
back
They
the Middle
destroyed
East
it all.
like
Oh, it's
500
destroyed,
years.
is what you're saying?
Baghdad is like one of the oldest
Yeah.
institutions in the world.
People, so it's always a funny thing. I'm not going to get too into this, but whenever people talk about like like European colonialism or whatever being destructive, no one holds a candle to Asian, I guess, colonial. I mean, the Mongols were fucking wild,
They,
Yeah.
they
and that
really
was
let
only
it-
about 300 years before.
I mean, they think that the Mongolian invasion of, the sacking of Baghdad in particular.
It was the equivalent of a nuclear bomb being dropped on Baghdad.
Right,
Do you
yeah.
say nuclear?
Yeah.
Rob.
It's nuclear.
Nuclear. Come on.
Nuclear.
You're a nuclear guy?
Nuclear?
I can't.
He had syllables. Yes.
Nuclear. Anyway,
Nuclear.
yeah, it set like their development in science and research back like
Being
hundreds
flying
of
cars right
years.
now.
They
Yeah,
just fucking
they never recovered from it.
railed that city.
They
No,
never
didn't.
recovered from it.
So
yeah.
Arabs believe that lesbianism was caused by heat generated in a woman's labia, which could be alleviated by friction against another woman's genitalia. And so, like, essentially,
So you need a fricatrix.
there was a Muslim philosopher.
You need a fricatrix.
Yeah,
Who doesn't?
fricatrix.
Need a fricatrix, yeah.
Everyone needs one.
There's a Muslim philosopher named
Except
Al-Kindi.
that
He had
damn
some
rabbit.
interesting thoughts on this. He came up with the hot labia theory. And he said the hot labia needed to be cooled with cold friction, which I guess included another vagina.
Sure, as it does.
Is it cold?
I don't know. Rob, have you touched one? Are they cold?
Didn't usually feel cold. Well, mine do, but like I feel like others I heard.
Yeah, I
were
like to
it's
put
not
an
so
ice cube
cold.
on my my girl's
Sure.
vagina.
But Al-Kindi also said when a woman ejaculates during lesbian sex, the ejaculate is cold.
That makes sense.
I don't know. I don't have the answer.
What I feel like what happened was like a chick squirted.
You never
Sorry.
dated a squirter?
Veronica,
chick's-
tell us.
I've not squirted.
I feel like what happened is a chick squirted and he ran into the room like 2 minutes later.
It's like, whoa, it's freezing.
Right?
Yeah.
And he was like, whoa, that's pretty cold. It's like me like picking up like an
yes.
hour-old cup of coffee and
Yeah,
being
it's
like,
for sure not cold.
coffee
but
is cold.
I don't know if it's on your if it's on your sheets and you know the
it is
AC's
cold
on.
after.
It's
I
gonna
am
be
not.
cold.
Yeah.
I do not.
Hold up.
So he said that
PC.
female ejaculate is cold while male ejaculate is
Florida.
always hot. Because he was testing the jizz right away. Like he would come in his own and be like, that's hot. It's hot jizz.
Surely it would be hot coming from inside of a body.
You would think they would both be about 98 degrees or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck something is
Yes.
temperatured when it
Yeah, the
comes
same
out.
temperature as blood
Yeah.
and breast milk, and it's probably all the
Right,
same.
Yeah, about that.
About
A
that.
full Nick Lachey, yes.
And then the last thing was there was another.
good.
That was underappreciated.
Yeah,
That
I've
was
been
sorry,
good.
that was
I've
delayed.
only been doing it all podcast. God damn, I'm walking off.
Get out of here.
I acknowledged it, Dan.
He quit.
We heard it.
Okay.
Now Dan quits.
He likes to just.
Bye, Dan. Dan has walked away for your listeners.
It's all right. He does that sometimes.
It's really rude to our
Dan.
guest. But
The other theory was this is from Al-Kindi. It's not from Al-Kindi. It's from another a Christian Arab actually named Masawiya. I butchered that. I'm sorry. Lesbianism results from when a nursing woman eats celery, rocket, whatever that meant back at that point. I assume it's not a rocket.
Not a rocket ship, probably.
Melatonin.
I want to say rocket's like an arugula.
And then bitter flowers of a bitter orange tree.
That'll do it.
When she eats these plants and suckles her child, she gets kind of horny.
Yeah, that'll do it every time.
For chicks only.
For chicks only.
Yeah. Is that does do it for you?
Yeah, usually,
Yeah.
actually.
Rob-
I'm gonna take all that when I get home.
Some bitter
After
orange.
this,
You're
yes,
like,
yes.
You're like Taylor.
Taylor's been getting home. Her work schedule right now is 12 to 9, so it'll be about time
Yeah.
for me to eat my what was it, orange and rocket.
Bitter orange.
Well, what you do? Just do a line of powdered orange leaves.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
Yes.
just flood the apartment.
I will do it. You know what? I'll report back next time I'm
Please
on.
do.
Yeah.
And for good measure, rocket is arugula.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
So arugula. Oh,
Arugula
shit.
and orange. Is that all I need? Do I need all of the ingredients or just
Is
any
that why they
of
keep
Any
them?
putting
of them.
arugula on all
Any
the
of them.
pizza?
Yeah, celery. Dude, that explains whenever I get wings, my wife will eat the celery and then not want to fuck me while I'm covered in wing sauce.
She
That's
wants
totally
to fuck
it.
me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it wasn't my fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not my fault.
She's not like, ew, you're gross after wings. She's
It's
like,
the
I only wanted the touch of a woman.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Just don't order celery, bro.
No celery.
And
Yeah.
get the arugula
Okay.
off the pizza.
Next time I'm at the fucking sports bar that my wife definitely wanted to go to and hang out with me at and would fuck me
Right.
after.
Yeah, it has
while we're
nothing
at the
to-
sports bar.
No,
I'll be like,
especially
don't
if the
bring
zoo
me any
wins.
celery because I don't need my fucking wife wanting to munchbox. She's gonna fuck me later after I eat these wings.
Yeah, has nothing to do with the lack of attention she got for 5 hours. Like, definitely
Or the
the
wings I
celery.
ate.
Yeah,
I knew it
it's
was
the
the celery.
Listen,
I knew it was the
You
celery.
knew,
it's
and
our
you were
anniversary,
right. You were right.
okay? Like, I
Don't
get
bring
it.
celery out. Yeah.
Well, that's all I got. And let's get some final thoughts from around the table. We'll go to you last.
Okay.
Dan,
Because I'm a woman. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
goes.
Well,
That's only
we're
adding
actually
to
pretty
it.
progressive here. We don't open doors for you. You go last.
Ew.
Yeah.
okay. So
Alright.
it's me.
Yeah.
I'm playing a reverse Uno card. Boom. Back to you.
No. What are your final thoughts?
You don't have a reverse, so it's you.
That's you didn't.
I'm uncomfy. Someone
Yeah.
go.
All right, I'll just say it. Was what I actually assumed was going to happen, but I was actually even still like hilariously surprised that it was like, yeah, in this era we don't get a lot of lesbians, and then in this era we also don't really have much on lesbians, and then in this era we really don't have much on lesbians. The funniest thing I found, by the way, of the whole thing, and it wasn't from it's from beyond these eras, was they're like, oh, we have this picture of two women, and I was like, oh, that's sweet, and then I. Like not sweet, but I was like, oh, that's interesting that they finally have it. Like, and it was from like the 1890s, I guess you could say.
Sure.
And then I kept reading, and they're like, it's from the cover of a criminology textbook.
Oh.
Okay, but
no.
how much of this is what I.
It was like two, and it was like a very like there was rest of the period, obviously, but it was like a very I guess average looking lesbian couple. There was one more femme, one more masculine, and everything. And I was like, oh, that's interesting that
Yeah.
someone even took their picture. And then it was like,
Right.
it was the cover of a criminology textbook.
Sure.
Let me point out something though.
Oh, is the Uno card gone?
Yeah, it's
Is Dan just doing something now?
we're coming back to me.
Okay.
Probably most of it is not historically kept because for the longest time there was this crazy thing that we just didn't let women read or write.
Sure.
Oh, that was no, they said that constantly in this. They were like, well, we don't know much in part because women weren't reading or writing.
Yeah.
And
so
if they
that's
were-
probably a good.
It wasn't on tablets.
Yeah.
And they
or-
probably weren't like spreading their business like that.
as well. You
I
shouldn't.
don't know.
Not when it's a crime.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Of all,
You don't
all-
want record.
of the alphabet community, I think lesbians are the least gossipy
Why?
from the ones I've.
Oh
interacted
man,
with.
Prove it, Dan. Why?
You fucked up, Dan.
Well, of course, the gay guys are obviously the most talkative.
Why are you pointing at me?
No reason.
Wow.
I read something interesting about gossip and that like it was originally meant to be like basically it was only turned into like a bad thing, like a gossipy, like to be misogynistic, and that it's actually like originally the purpose of gossip was to like get to know your community and like be
Yeah,
close.
It's
and,
trust
like,
building.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like it was not like known to be like a negative quality until like much more recently. And I don't know years or anything. I read a Twitter thread about it. But yeah, it was like basically to be like, yeah, women suck, right? Gossip, that's
Right.
bad. But it really was like women are empathetic and care about the community and each other.
Right.
Yeah.
By the way,
imagine-
that is the number one thing I think when I think about how people go crazy about women's sports not being as valued as like men's sports and stuff like that, and like, well, they could just do it just as well. Of like, no, the problem is not that we don't value like women's athleticism; it's that we don't value like the things that women exceed at more than men.
That's exactly it. I talk about this. I think about this all the time. And like literally society's ills are like, to me, it's like we don't value things. It's not just that we don't value women. It's that we don't value things that are deemed feminine. And so like,
You can't have an empathy Olympics.
well, exactly. But like empathy.
You can't. Like you fucking can't have you can't measure empathy.
It's called Twitter.
But I think, you like empathy is not valued in society when like it is one of the most valuable things to society, and
Right.
it is like viewed as a bad thing because it's like womanly, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not. I mean, to me,
Which
I don't
is
think we
hilarious.
should necessarily always promote like what women should take on more masculine roles and like. Obviously, I'm not saying that women can't. Like, I am marrying somebody who is very masculine and like does all these things. But like, it's not that we should promote women being more masculine necessarily, unless they want to. We shouldn't be like encouraging girls if they're not interested in it. It's just we should value things that are womanly. Like all these
Yes.
characters who are like, they're badass. It's like, because they're like dudes. Like, why
Right.
aren't they badass
Like,
for just being
Gamora, like in
Exactly.
Right.
Like being girly should be badass too. Like why
Right.
is it not?
Right.
So anyway, what were we talking about?
I didn't even get
Lesbians?
my final thoughts.
What would you learn today, Jake?
I learned some fun words.
You
That was
did.
I learned some
Frickatrix is-
Frickatrix is up there for me.
Yeah.
And don't try to spin that into an insult. I think it's a fun word.
Who would ever spin that into an insult?
It's a great one.
No.
Frickatrix.
But
It sounds like a cat name.
No, you're
Hi,
Yeah.
Frickatrix.
Yeah.
Frickatrix Lestrange would have been a way cooler name in Harry Potter.
So Bellatrix. Well, Trix is actually Latin. So was she trying to make Bellatrix Lestrange like
Bellatrix.
what's the Bella root?
Beautiful,
Beautiful?
dominatrix, yeah. Or beautiful tricks.
But she wasn't hot. She was evil and dark and mean.
Yeah, but some jock guys like those goth chicks,
Like, sure, why not?
Yeah. I learned that from Juno.
Do you
Anyway,
think that's where the rap community got it?
what? Got what?
Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.
Tricks? Trick was from turning a trick.
I know.
All we really from the Trix thing we know is that the rabbit was trying to save children from sexual.
Right.
Yeah, I did learn-
That's a big takeaway from
I learned
today.
that too, but I also learned the same thing you guys did.
He was
also,
the original Chris Hansen.
Oh,
Have a seat right
that
over here.
rabbit.
He was like
Yeah.
reverse Chris.
He's like,
Hansen.
you don't want to see where the there's no rainbow. That's the Lucky Charms guy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, Jake, what did you learn?
Yeah, thanks. Well, now it's gone. No, I learned a lot. I learned that, of course, women were not written about. Like Dan said, it's just like,
Right.
or maybe Rob.
No, I said it.
We both said it.
No,
Yeah, I think that's
only,
kind of the
only
key.
Dan said it.
I think it's kind of the key
I said
takeaway.
they
It's
were
like,
written about too
oh,
much,
I
actually.
think one thing that people need to learn is like, there's only 12 people documented in this. Doesn't mean there were only 12
Yeah.
people doing it.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
I think it was rampant, I'm sure.
Well, our main theme is shit don't change.
Yeah, no, people
Which
like to fuck,
means-
dude.
Right.
Women were fucking.
Constantly.
Everyone fucks. That's what we need to learn.
People
fuck.
People
Right.
fuck.
And they
Right.
should.
And they should. You should fuck.
You should
As long
fuck.
as they're consenting.
As
The
long
o-
as they're consenting.
The
That's
only
right.
thing, and I guess they don't know because they don't have like a comparison. I guess the only thing I feel bad about for anyone is just the general cleanliness situation of any time before post World War II.
Yeah, sure.
But
But
Veronica,
I think there
what-
were less STDs back then, or were there not?
I just mean like sweat and smell.
You're used to it.
That's probably
Yeah,
true.
it's-
you don't have a reference point.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's,
everything's
like,
the baseline.
fine.
Right.
What did I learn today? I got angrier today than I expected.
Oh, perfect. That's what I wanted.
Only at these things that I'm like, literally, shit don't change. I guess this is your catchphrase, but so many of these things that I'm like, oh, that was a problem then, and like it's a problem still. Like we didn't progress from something that was an issue 4,000 years ago. We progressed, but not enough. There's still a root problem.
I think we typically find that not endearing. What am I trying to say? Reassuring.
Why? Because you're white man.
Yes. No, because it means that it's not it's not antagonism. You know what I mean? Like someone's not out to get you. It's just dumb nature, and I feel like that.
I don't know. I don't love that argument because then I think that emboldens people to say, well, it's nature that we're hateful in these ways.
Well, no, not that. I don't mean the hate part. I just mean the frightened part. Because it means to me that you can show someone that. Like if there's 4,000 years of evidence that you can be like, oh, see, like they were reacting stupidly.
Yeah.
Like that to me shows like, look at like all these, like that's not natural. It's like, look at the dumb people reacting dumbly. I don't know. To me, it's reassuring to know at least the patterns of human behavior.
Okay, I see what you're saying. To me, I view it as like definitely a pattern, but it's all learned, and it was learned so long ago, and it underlies society so much in such negative ways, and it makes me so angry because like it didn't have to be. And if 4,000 years ago it was a different way, then it would be a different way, and like. It's learned from one generation to the next and the next and the next. And like, we still haven't corrected these things that are like wrong. And that is really, I don't know, disappointing to me.
Yeah, and to kind of speak to that, I think what you're talking about too is like, evolutionarily speaking, it really benefited us to categorize things quickly and make quick assumptions to not die.
Sure.
And we're past that.
Right.
We're past it.
We're past that civilization wise, but not Like our monkey
Individualization. Yeah.
brains haven't caught up to where we are.
And it's so
That's why the aliens won't come.
frustrating.
Right.
It's so frustrating. I mean, especially to me, like my salience as being a woman is a more salient part of my identity than being bisexual.
Right.
When I'm hearing all this, I'm like, I hear it is very much more like discrimination against women over centuries and centuries than it was discrimination against
100%.
homosexuality. And that is
female homosexuality. I mean,
but I'm saying the discrimination was against women more than it was against homosexuality because it was women homosexuality that was discriminated against more.
They just didn't
and
give a
so
shit.
it's just so frustrating because I feel like we still feel those effects today. And I don't know, man, it sucks. Girls are great.
I think we're
and we should be great.
I agree. I love girls. I'm excited to go
I
to
love
your
girls.
I'm excited to go to your wedding.
My girl on girl wedding.
Yeah.
You excited to watch me get gay married?
Yeah. I'm going to send it to my grandpa and be like, fuck you. He's dead, but
He'll be watching.
yeah.
We'll post photos on his gravesite.
I just sent it to the cloud. Yeah. He's the cloud that he's sitting on.
Got it. Anyway, on that note.
Well, that's it for Softcore History.
Wait,
What?
we're gonna have merch.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
We're
Talk
gonna
about the
learn.
merch. I don't want to talk about the merch.
Yeah, so we have merch now. If you go on our website, which we have as well, we might want to touch that up a little bit. It'll get a little cleaner looking, but if you want to go buy merch right now,
This
you
is a
can.
rough draft, but yeah, pretty much what we got some t-shirts.
hat's
we got
about
some hats.
right.
The hats look way worse online. They are great in person.
Yeah, the
Yeah, we
hats
got to
are
get
rad.
some product photography. There's some mock-ups now, but we have some t-shirts and hats, black, navy, white for all of them, I think, except for the hats are gray, black, and white. Anyway, go to softcorehistory.com. Check us out. You can find out if you want to share the podcast with people, you can too. There's quick links to listen on any sort of site. There's also a merch section too where you can support us by buying a t-shirt, spreading the
Please
word.
buy
Get a
a
hat.
goddamn t-shirt.
Yeah, every time you don't buy something from there, I get billed. So
So
Yeah.
buy it.
just
Yeah.
buy the stuff.
I want one,
Softcorehistory.com.
but I want it for free.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
Thanks.
that.
We'll talk
Okay.
about
We can
mine.
get you that. It's not tough.
Yeah.
But
Next
yeah.
month.
Also, of course, leave reviews. That'll help us climb
Yep.
the charts.
We haven't got enough Iron Dome definitions yet, but we will read them online.
Yeah. So hit us up with some reviews. Tell a friend about the podcast. Of course, share. And just thank you for riding and listening to the podcast. for
Oh,
as
and
long as you
also,
had.
it should be noted, we have a new exciting member of the podcast coming on.
Yeah. I'm currently creating him as we speak.
Oh, God.
What?
We have a new exciting member of the podcast
We have a
coming on.
mascot.
We have a
What is
mascot.
it?
We have
What
a
is
mascot
You'll
coming
see
on.
when he arrives.
Well, I can't reveal any more
It's a
than that.
surprise?
It's a surprise.
Oh,
Surprise.
man.
We'll tell you. We'll
Surprise.
tell you
We're
after.
so excited.
I, just like the listeners, will have to tune in.
I am not as excited as you guys
Yeah,
are.
no, you're not.
Well, I don't know. That feels like a
He
you
seems to have like a
problem.
problem with me for some reason.
No,
He
he. I don't think you. I think
Guys,
you're
let's
Just the
wrap this
idea
up
of
so you
you.
can tell me who it is.
Okay.
I can't.
He has no
Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next week. For Jake and Dan and Veronica Ruckh, I'm Rob Fox, and
You just got soft served.